evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. We're going to have a bunch of things on the agenda. Just wanted to give you guys an update as far as the road work goes. There are going to be some stuff left with the curbs, and they're doing some of the other repairs that are needed to be done by the sidewalks. And we are hoping that soon we're going to have the um, milling starting probably in a week or so, hopefully sooner, and continue with putting the pavement on. Um, I still don't know why the sides of the road, meaning the parking lanes, are in concrete and not asphalt. I've spoken to the legislature, Philip, to find if there's a way, technically, that we can actually have the entire place from curb to curb to have asphalt, so have more uniformity. She will look into it and see if that is a possibility. And if it's not going to cost so much money and there's no other engineering issues, maybe we can get that done. Okay, so let's start with Nassau County Police report. I have not heard about a lot of uh, car thefts, at least in the past couple of days. I don't know if there has been any. I'm hoping that people start locking their car doors. And also there's significantly more police presence. But still, I'm asking everyone to stay vigilant. And if you say something, if you see something, say something, call the cops, and hopefully this will be prevented. Oh, I can't open this.
Mayor, you could see the report on the screen. Um, very few accidents last month in the village, only 6 of them. East Shore Road and Vista, unfortunately, it's being a hot venue for accidents. Oldman Road and Polo Road also. Fairview and Middle Neck Road, Middle Neck and Brokaw, William and Polo, and Baker and Hartley. Baker and Hartley is new, but the other 5 are unfortunately uh, very much showing up every week, every month.
So where are we holding off with the new speed signs?
The minutes will be approved tonight. Then it can be sent to the county for their approval, and then they can approve
Great.
the funds.
Where is your microphone? That it? Yeah. You can hear me? Okay.
Mayor, the next item is American Legion parade request. If you remember last time, they submitted the request without mentioning the time as well as the route that they are going to be taking. The parade should start at Susquehanna Avenue at 9:30. They should get to the village at about 10:15, and they should reach Village Green by 10:30. They are working with Nassau County Police as well as the town of North Hempstead and other villages for traffic control. They asked me, they left me a message today if they can meet with DPW.
This is for the 23rd, right? May 23rd?
This is, yes, no, May 30th.
May 30th.
This is for the May 30th Memorial Day parade. So they are still working on the details. However, the hours and the route is in front of you.
So I think we were discussing if we're going to close the entire street. I think last time there was one lane open going south.
So that's why the chairwoman would like to meet with all the town and the other villages that are involved in this, and it's still a work in progress.
Okay.
What they're asking is if you could please allow them to pass through the village for the parade.
Of course, but I'm just saying we have. I just want to make sure that we actually this time close the entire street so people can actually get it.
I can relay the message to Mr. Massaro when he goes to the meetings. He can mention that.
Yes, because I think a few years ago we had an issue with cars driving very close to the marchers. Okay.
So Mayor, you would like that one side of the road should be closed, for example, the south side should be closed or the north side, or the entire Middle Neck Road?
A few years back we had the entire Middle Neck Road, and I thought that it's a lot safer. But because there are in our village we do have the dividers, so if everyone comes on one side we're okay. But the other side, when you go south of the village, it's very, and there are a lot of areas that the street is very narrow. So when they're marching and the cars driving going south, it can actually be very dangerous. I rather have the entire street closed for for the duration of this 2 hours.
1.5.
Right. So that's my suggestion, but that's really up to the villages down south.
Okay, I will mention that to Mr. Massaro when he goes to the meeting.
Right.
Is there a motion then to approve the parade?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Hope, seconded by Trustee Kashi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Mayor, would you like to go to the new business, or would you like to go to the public hearing first?
We can do who's here for new business. So let's do the new business, and then we get to the public hearing.
Okay. There's a request for an extension of time for building permits issued to building located at 523, 531. If the applicant is not here, Mr. Felpazzi is here.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Andrew Filipazzi of Congresswoman Archer on behalf of the applicant. This is a request for a waiver of fees in connection with an extension of a building permit related to the construction at 523, 531 Middleneck Road. The building permit was issued in March of 2021 and was set to expire March of this year. The anticipated construction time when this first came before the board for the approval was 18 to 24 months. When the applicant had reached out to the building department to get an additional extension, they were advised that there was a renewal fee equal to 50% of the building permit, which is about $27,000, almost $28,000. And as Mr. Haramis indicated that he did not have the discretion to waive any fees, we are now before the board asking for that waiver.
What percentage of the work is done?
There's a substantial amount of work that's done. The whole structure is up. I know that the plumbing fixtures and the interior still needs to be completed, and the estimated time for completion is 18 to 24 months, which is consistent with what was initially proposed back in 2019, and the applicant is still on target to meet that timeline despite the COVID pandemic and the supply chain issues and inflation and all of those external factors. The project is still set to be completed within 18 to 24 months, 6 to 12 months from today.
So I did visit the site. Actually, I went inside, and I can say that most everything, the interior is not done, but the building itself is standing with all the internal stuff, like the structural stuff is done, but they haven't done the walls and all those things are still. Some of them are done actually. There are some areas that they actually have started doing sheetrock. But the fixtures, the toilet, and all that other stuff is not there yet. But a lot of the stuff, I think they can actually close off if they haven't yet. They're waiting for windows.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so I think they're waiting for windows and some fixtures to arrive, and hopefully they can put that up. That's going to make things go a lot faster.
Mayor, just for the awareness of the board, the code provision provides that upon the extension of a building permit by the Board of Trustees, there shall be a fee of 50% of the original fee.
Right. So I don't remember, do we have these 50% apply when they start working or before they start working? How does that work?
So they pay the initial fee, whatever the fee may be. They put up 50% at the beginning, and plan review is done. At the end of plan, when permit is issued, they pay the balance. So 100% of the fees are paid. They have 1 year to complete the work, which then the permit expires. Once the permit expires, you pay 50% of the fee.
Do we really expect that building to be over in 1 year?
Well, it sounds like you did.
18 to 24 months. Is that cannot
No,
be
no,
done
no.
in 1 year?
No, but I'm just saying that the code says it in a way that we expect those things to be done within a year.
The building department does have the power to extend the building permit for a period of up to 2 years, following which the only recourse is to come to the Board of Trustees. The board, of course, has the power to waive a fee that it has previously set, but generally speaking, you want to have cause as to why you do it for one versus another. Uh, in this particular case, the building permit was not extended. As a result of that, the permit expired, and therefore they're seeking from the Board of Trustees to get the relief.
And Mr. Mayor, I think you're exactly correct. This isn't your typical single-family home construction or renovation where it's anticipated to be done within 1 year. This is a multi-story commercial mixed-use development, which was contemplated to take 18 to 24 months. from
Why
the
did
outset.
my question is, why did the permit expire?
They originally got a permit to do demo. If you remember, the board granted them a demolition permit, I believe it was in November of 19. And then it took 4 months for them to get the actual building permit, which was given in March of 21. So now it expired in March of 22. So they did demo prior to having the building permit. So we didn't hold them up. The work did not commence. So the work was started because this board granted them the permission to get the demo started so it wouldn't have any holdups. And I understand COVID did play a fact in certain things. At the end of the day, the permit expired. If they were, let's say, 80% done, and they said we need an extension of the building permit, I would have no problem extending the permit. You might be able to say we're 50% done. I don't have the, for 50%, I don't have the right to waive the fee.
And that's the reason.
And we understand that the waiving of a fee is not within Mr. Haramis's discretion, and that's why we're before the board. This is a unique situation dealing with a multi-story mixed-use development, not a single-family home, which you can anticipate to be completed within a year, or have a reasonable expectation for it to be completed within a year. This is, an 18 to 24 month construction cycle, which we're still on target to meet, but the building permit issues building permits that are only valid for 1 year.
On building permits for 2 years?
No, for 1 year.
They,
and then
they can be
extendable.
extended by the building department for up to 2 years.
So why didn't you apply for the extension before it
Put the
expired?
mics on, please. I'm
I-
sorry, but yours and the
It's
theirs.
on.
Yeah, I have it on.
Very bad.
You wanna
Is there a
increase
reason why
the-
you didn't renew it before it expired?
The applicant had been in contact with Mr. Haramis going back to February about extending the permit, and that's where this back and forth kind of came up with the renewal fee, and we did submit the request to the board prior to the expiration of the permit back on March 22nd. It was set to expire on March 23rd, and this is the first board meeting that's been held since then.
Is there anything to say?
I think they should get at least 2 years.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
It makes sense. If
2
you,
years, how can
2
we
years
do
is
that in a
something
year?
that's enormous. Again, it's not a single family house, I understand. So originally, something this
From start of
in this
construction.
magnitude, we should give them
2 years at least.
2 years at least.
Exactly. And if it weren't to be completed within 2 years and we had to come back for further extension where it couldn't be extended by the building department, we would have to come back to you and you would decide if there should be a renewal fee or an extension fee of the building permit at that time.
Right.
We should revisit this.
So, I mean, there are a bunch of things that I think played a role in this. One, it's the magnitude. I mean, it's not magnitude. I don't want to say it's a a huge
big
building.
project.
But it's bigger than one family.
Correct.
Two, I think COVID probably played, even though I thought that they did a wonderful job working during the COVID and to get to what they did. But what I think we did before a while ago was that we were able to extend a for a period of time. I think it was 6 months at that time or a year. I don't remember the project. But then after that, if they didn't finish, then they would come back, and at that time they would get assessed to see if there's going to be 50% or another the full amount that would be responsible for
Right.
to pay.
If we weren't able to complete all the work and get a CO or get, to 99% where it could be another 2 weeks where it got extended before a CO was issued, then we would have to come back and ask for an additional extension. And at that time, I think the board would be within its right to, impose an additional building permit fee. But given the type of construction here and we're asking for the 1-year extension and the waiver of the fee.
Okay. So I feel that it's fair for this project to get, because they have, I believe they've moved quickly despite the hardship, to waive the fee of $27,000, and expect this to be done within 24 months of the time that it commenced, which is March.
Well, it would actually go for the demo permit, which is November, of 20.
No, but they get the coverage for one permit, then they get another permit for.
You can't get a building permit, you can't get a demo permit unless you have a building permit. The board was gracious enough to give them the demo permit 4 months prior.
So the permit was given in November. So you have 24 months from November. I think that's
November of 20 was the issued for the demo permit.
So, right. So November of 2022
Would take it to November of 22, correct?
Right.
It's
So
still,
that's
it's still
7
too
months.
short a time. It should
That's
be
7
2 years
months.
That's
from when
7
they
more
start
months?
construction,
That's
not
not
demo.
enough.
From here,
That's almost 8 months.
Demo
No,
is
7 months.
7 months.
Demo is demo.
Um, yeah, I mean, it has to be with the
Still
code.
not gonna get done by November.
Is 7 months
I don't
sufficient
disagree.
enough?
I don't disagree.
No, he's
Is there a-
telling you what the code is.
I know, I'm just disagreeing, it should be 2 years from construction.
The estimated time of construction was, for the whole project was issued in 24 months. I feel more confident saying that it will be completed within 24 months from the March 21 date when the building permit was issued. So it's,
Okay. So I can't confidently say that it'll be completed within 7 months. There's certainly a chance of it, but as we've all seen between COVID and probably more importantly at this point, the supply chain issues, I don't have confidence in saying that it'll definitely be completed within
Right.
7
I
months.
think just to be consistent with what we have done for COVID situations in past, that we have extended and or removed fees. I feel compelled that it's the right thing to do to waive the fee. Again, I would like the board to concur or disagree, but or comment. But I think the fee should be, and it should be extended 12 months from the construction, and I'm hoping that that's enough. But again, probably this will be sufficient time to be completed, and if it's not, then obviously you have to come back, and at that time the board will decide if it's going to be another 50% or even sometimes at full price.
Mayor, could the building department clarify whether it's the demo permit, the building permit, or both that are being extended?
But the demo permit cannot be extended. The
Demo
demo
permit
permit.
can't be extended, but you can't get a building permit unless you have a demo permit and vice versa. So the board made a decision to go 4 months before they got the building permit. So that's when construction started. So we wouldn't lose time. We gave them the demo permit.
Right. I mean, I understand. I would still say, again, I understand the situation. You know,
By extending, Steve, you're saying extending from what date, though? The whole question is from November or from March?
so he's saying it should be from November.
The construction started in November, and it was 18 to 24 months from the day they started. They had to have a building permit, would have been November.
But they actually started in March,
No, they started demo in November.
so we're including that.
They started demo in November. So demo started actually.
Yes, demo started in November.
The demo permit, I believe, was issued November of 2020, and then a building permit was issued in March of 21. That's why normally they would be issued together, but in this case, they were issued
We
separately.
tried to be okay.
That's why I was asking.
So why don't we just give them the
It should be
extension
2
to
years
November
from March.
2022?
That should be 2 years.
And then we'll figure out the rest later.
All right.
So
What
then,
did you say was issued in 2019 though? I thought-
November of 2019 is the demo permit. So
Right.
usually
That was
they give
November
it together.
20.
This time because
You're
they wanted
saying
to start
20
with
and he's saying 19. Which
No,
one is
20.
No, demo was November 2019.
it? Right.
no.
No, November
20.
2020. November 2020. There's nothing 2019.
No.
And then March 21,
Steve, okay.
right?
Yeah, okay,
Right.
that's fine.
So, so if really the construction really began, we give 2 years. We can't really extend it beyond. I mean, from now, I think we can extend it from the November. So why don't we extend it to November, and then we'll see you again in November. Hopefully, you'll be done, and then it's not going to be a significant issue.
If that's what the board's prepared to grant, then I will
I mean,
accept.
just to be, again, it's not a matter of being, just to be consistent with what we have done and also be consistent with what we're going to extend from, you, if you're extending it a year, you're really extending it from November where the permit was given.
I understand. There's a lot of unique situations and factors with this particular application. One with the type of construction, and one with the extenuating circumstance that the board granted the
Right, so
demolition
we,
permit
listen,
early.
I think
so
it's okay to go ahead and do till November. We'll meet again, hopefully you'll be done by November, and if not, then we'll meet again in November. Okay?
Thank
So
you very much.
That, I think, at least we can get one thing out of the way. Okay, so are we going to vote on?
Yes, sir. Is there a motion to approve the extension of permission to continue with construction until, what was the individual date? I have November of 20, but I don't have a date.
November 23rd.
No, till November 23rd of 2022. Moved by Trustee Cashy, seconded by Trustee Hope. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, you do fiscal Henry.
Ouch. Okay, it goes maybe go.
Fire hydrant.
Okay, that's,
I think he just walked.
isn't it the same applicant?
And isn't that also 523?
Yeah, he wants to
Right.
present
Right.
himself.
It's the same address though, right?
Yes.
I thought it was my basement.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
It's back.
It's yours. He doesn't like you tonight.
Maybe you should sit on that side.
Deputy.
I don't know, because I remember there was something under here. What? What happened? Things came back? You still don't know? Okay, can we hear? Yes.
We ready for the fire hydrant?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, my name's Robert Wellner. I'm with General Contractor Jobco Incorporated, building the building for Stephen Wu Kuo on Middle Neck Road. One of the requirements of the fire marshal is to have a connection to a hydrant within 100 feet of the property for the FDC, the Fire Department Connection, which is a device sitting outside the building, which most of you are familiar with. I sat down recently with Abraham and Brian at the time to look at what we could do, and we found kind of a sweet spot to put the hydrant, which would not detract from the existing parking or take away from the existing parking lot, and that's an area just to the south of the crosswalk on Middle Neck Road, which is somewhat adjacent to the entrance to Everfresh. I've supplied an attachment to this in the documents. I don't know if you want to put it up on the board or. Oh, there it is. This is the diagram we prepared for this evening. And as you can see, we have the existing parking spots in black. I've shown an existing fire lane, which is already there in place, and it is striped or currently, and will continue to be a fire lane right adjacent to a 10-foot width of crosswalk. And as you can see, I've located a hydrant on the sidewalk just about several feet south of the crosswalk area, which will allow us to have the 15-foot dimension requirement to the south and 15-foot requirement to the north. So I think this is kind of a win-win location for both the developer of the project, the need of the fire marshal, and the needs of the village of Great Neck. So we're looking to gain your approval to put it in that location in the
Where is the
sidewalk.
entrance to Everfresh? The beginning.
It's
Oh, it's
where
not,
you
has
see the
nothing to do with the
crosswalk
entrance
is.
to the Everfresh, right? Oh, it does.
See the crosswalk? Oh, you just passed the crosswalk. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's almost right directly in front of it. I think the entrance is just slightly a little bit to the north.
So it's
But
going to be south of the entrance. It's not going to, right?
the hydrant location.
Where do you think the hydrant location? Can you just show me where on
By the
that?
yellow
Yeah, right.
lines?
You see where the arrow is right there?
Right.
Just somewhere right over there on that.
Isn't
that
that
dot.
going to? Don't we have to get rid of the parking spot right behind it?
No, no. If you look at the original diagram that I prepared, okay.
I know in your case it says no, but because you're saying it's 15 feet
See,
away.
see where I have the 15-foot dimension?
Right.
That dimension starts on the south end, which will be the north end of that last parking spot. That's where it's striped now. If you go out there, it still exists. So 15 feet from that location to where the hydrant would be. So we're not losing spots, and it's already a designated area of no parking.
Okay.
And this would make the requirement of the Nassau County Fire Marshal, the local fire departments, and so forth, within 100 feet of our building for a connection.
Okay.
Where's the nearest fire?
They're saying it's 15 feet. I don't know how that's 15 feet.
How's this to here? So this is supposed to be at least 30 feet. If you put it in here, it's not.
No, it's 15 feet on either side of the center line of the hydrant. So we have 15 feet on either side.
So this means this is about 30 feet.
No, that's not 30 feet. Maybe I'm not explaining to you properly. But if you put my diagram back up, can I just step over here?
Of course.
Okay. So if you go out now, you'll see a striped line here. You'll see the stripes, they're kind of faint because they're faded. But from this line here to this point is 15 feet, center line of the hydrant. Then you're going to have another 15 feet on the other side. That's clear. That's all you need for the requirement of
I think the question is if the hydrant is really, if you go back to the,
Do the striped
It's
lines go
going
to
to be
where the
right,
car
it's
is?
going to be see this, oh, here, you got the straight line here. You measure from here, 15 feet.
that's 15 feet?
Right,
Maybe.
and then you measure here, 15 feet, yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's, that guy is probably
Where the
about
car is
5 feet.
parked, is the striping starts from there?
No, it starts from here. This is a spot, you still have a
Okay,
spot here.
that's the
Right,
confusion.
this is the 15 feet to the center, and then you have another 15 feet.
How big is the parking spot? How many-
24.
Yeah, they're excessively big spots here.
No, but what are they anyway, 24 feet?
Yes.
So that makes sense. If that's 24 feet, that's 15. All right.
Trust me, I measured it,
Including the crosswalk.
trust me.
Including the crosswalk, isn't it? And then 30 feet.
What do you mean?
It's including the crosswalk
Yes,
and the
on the
whole-
other side. Yes,
So
as
the whole
long,
entire crosswalk plus the whole area.
part of the crosswalk,
30 feet.
about 7 or 8 feet of the
Right.
crosswalk, but that's, that's all you need, a clear area.
No, the crosswalk I don't really care because no one parks there. But I'm just thinking about, you see where that car is right now?
That's illegally parked.
It's come a little bit forward, right?
You need 15 feet away from that.
Yeah.
We've gone out there, we've measured it,
I
and
think
what I
it's,
show on
I
this
mean, if
diagram
it's 15
is
feet
that-
away, I mean, obviously they're going to check, but if it's 15 feet or 15 and a half, that's what they're saying, then I'm okay with it. I know. No, I missed the median. I missed the
Center
median.
median looks beautiful now.
Yeah.
Are they gonna plant in the center median? or,
Yes,
small?
yes. When we have everything set, yes. Okay, so
Mayor, as the board may be aware, you are charged for fire hydrants on a monthly or annual basis. I understand that part of the application is to be reimbursed for that. Is that correct, Abraham? Quarterly, you are charged for fire hydrants.
and how much are we paying a year again?
Currently is at 46. they're going up almost 5% every year. It has gone
46
out
or 460?
$46 a month.
$46 a month.
It goes up about 5% every year.
Every
It has
year.
gone up 22% in the past 6 years.
Jeez.
That's one of the budget items that we have to adjust. I found out about it today.
Okay, so it's about $552 that we're paying a year.
Correct.
And Mayor, I apologize for the questions, but I think this was a relatively late addition to the agenda. Is a road opening permit going to be necessary, Steve?
That's through Nassau County, and it's a county road.
Okay, so he would have to obtain a road opening permit from Nassau County as well.
Yeah, and they should do it immediately because they're.
I've contacted the Great Neck North Water Authority, and they've already have a contractor ready to go. They're on board if we could get the application approved.
And of course, as a practical matter, once the hydrant is in, it's there forever.
Yes, I'm aware.
To split it, you know?
It doesn't really affect them in any way. It's not in front. I mean, I asked to see if it's going to be in front of their door. It's not.
So they're running their door.
It's in front of the building.
Yeah, but nobody's parking there anyway. Nobody can park there.
Nobody could
It's even
park
better.
No, right.
Better, so nobody's gonna park
The
there.
fire hydrant's gonna benefit
It might be
everyone.
even more of a deterrent visually to have a hydrant there, because
You can't park
Right.
there.
I'm there many
Nobody's gonna
times
park
during
there.
the day, and there's, tends to
I
get.
think it's better for them.
I just need an advice of counsel quickly.
Very good, sir. Steve, what's the purpose of that crosswalk right now, that patchwork?
so after a quick discussion, I just wanted to find out exactly what the custom has been in the village. The custom has been in the village that when you get a dedication of any sort, a road dedication or something like that, it's about 20 years of what it would cost the village to maintain. We do that with the roads, we do that with other things. And I think based on the quick calculation, if the price stays the same without it going up by 5%, which according to Abraham, it has gone up for the past, every year it goes up by 5%. I don't know what it's going to be.
Years have gone up by 10%.
Every time?
5%
Each year.
Overall, in the past 6 years, it has gone up by 21%.
Okay, so let's say if it doesn't go up anymore, based on that, it would be I forgot what it was in the 20s. It's going to be $11,040. The problem with this is that this is different than the COVID issue, and it's something that is deviating from what the village has practiced. And the board feels uncomfortable to deviate from that practice that we have done over the years, that anything that happens, that we have to pay, for 20 years of service. This, again, even though this usually gets done at the time, I feel, again, just because of the difficult times, I feel that this fee can be applied before the seal. And that's what the board feels that they want to do. And we try to be as compassionate as we can, but we can't really deviate from what we have done for other people. We actually have a road dedication that the same thing has happened. So even though it's, I would have been able to, I would have liked to be able to do better, but I think we discussed 10,000, even though it's about $1,000 less, I still would, based on the board input and suggestion, I think $1,000 would be $10,000 to be paid at before the CO.
I'm going to let Mr. Crowe address that, but the only comment I have is that we appreciate your consideration, but if we're paying for the maintenance for other people to use it beside that particular building, God forbid there's a fire at Everfresh or any other entity on the block, they have
Right. So I mean,
they have that right
I hear your argument, but the same argument could be made that other people are going to drive in the roads besides the people that are getting medication. So it usually doesn't work. The reason the village is going to incur the cost is not because of Everfresh, is because of this building. And unfortunately, I wish we didn't have to do this, but it's just not. It's not the right thing. I hear you,
Yeah.
and I've spoken to Steve as well. It's just not the right thing to deviate and say for this applicant we're going to do this, for the other applicant we won't, and then every applicant is going to come and ask the same thing, and the taxpayers are going to be the one who are going to get the end of it.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees. My
How are you?
apologies for being late. I appreciate I got the incredible news on the first issue, so I wanted to thank the board very much for your understanding and save you with my long speech. So that was a good thing. In regards to the fire hydrant, I hope the board also understands that myself will have to spend about almost $65,000 to have this installed, and this is obviously before any paving is done, right? So that's an investment that I would have to do as part of this building, and also keep in mind that the taxes that I'm paying today versus the taxes post-construction would go up about 11 times, okay? So from my point of view, I would hope that it's a investment that I'm doing in the village to revitalize and beautify your downtown area, which unfortunately, I've spoken to the mayor about this, and this is, out of all seriousness, the budget was about $8 million. COVID has caused the increases of over 30%, okay, which now puts it over $10 million, okay? These are real facts, and I'm proud that my team and also GC and everyone else has pretty much stayed on schedule, given all the challenges of that. And I would hope as a private citizen investing in your village that the board can also understand I'm also a taxpayer, okay? I'm going to be paying more taxes. I would think that that would certainly, you know, more than pay the additional taxes for the $500 and something a quarter. And I would hope that there's some consideration given that, because I'm investing more than that $65,000. That's not an issue for me because that's a requirement as part of the building. But it is also an item that is not just for my building. So I hope you can also understand that, you know, if the board's decision is that, I will respect that. But to say that I would have to pay that over 20 years, that's a very long time. Hopefully I'm around in 20 years. But, you know, it just seems an exorbitant amount of money to pay in addition to what I already have to do to install it. And on top of that, the taxes that the village is gaining from my investment into the village and the non-monetary value that you get from your downtown area not having an empty building there for many, many years. That's what would have happened, because nobody wants to come this north in the peninsula to rent the retail. And that's just a fact. The banks are leaving, everyone's leaving. So it's been very difficult to rent out, very difficult. To date, I have no one. Okay, so it may not mean, the $10,000 may not mean a lot, but it means a lot to me at this moment. If this was a project that...
Steve, you're not asking you to pay at this moment. You know,
No, I
it's going to
understand
be
that,
just
but it's
before
the same,
CO.
it's
And
the
again,
same situation.
I think unfortunately, I don't know what I can say. Unless we change it for everybody, it's going to be very difficult. If it's COVID related, like it was with the permit fee,
Right.
We have done it, and it's, you know, obviously we listen to the people, and if they see it, you have done, and I told them, you were not here, and I said,
Thank you.
know, I've
Thank
seen
you.
the place, and I've seen that it has gone up, and it's, you know, they're working as much as they can, as fast as possible.
Right.
But there's certain things that is possible to waive. There's certain things that will create a ripple effect with every other thing, because you have to also realize every time anyone dedicates a road or dedicates anything else, they also say the same thing. Oh, we're going to pay a lot more taxes, and we're doing this, and it's all right. The problem is it's the cost that the taxpayers are going to incur. Now, when it comes to road dedication, it's the cost that it would, the payment is in lieu of the cost that it will be on the taxpayers if there are any road repair. Usually those road repairs don't happen for the first God knows how many years. It doesn't happen the first 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or maybe 10 years. But with this, the cost will be passed down to the taxpayers immediately after it's placed, even before you start using it. So that's why even though I understand in the board, I mean, we had a discussion, and I think it was, we all try to be as sympathetic as possible, but I think it just can't be that one would be waived. We can delay payment until we actually have the CO, and hopefully by then that should not be an issue. Hopefully you have everything rented out, but I don't think this one can be waived as easily as the other one.
Right, and I'm not actually here asking it to be waived. I'm just questioning the 20 years. That seems like a
That's
very
what
long
we're
time.
doing for everything.
Really? Because,
Apparently, based on what I'm hearing, with road dedication is 20 years.
so
And
this
again,
falls,
this doesn't even include the 5% raise that they have done, increases that they have done in the
Right.
past 2 years, every year.
right,
So I don't know if it's going to be 5%, 2%, 10%. I don't know what they're going to do. But to be fair to the taxpayers, even though I understand and I'm 100% for this project, and I think it's going to significantly beautify the area, but again, it has to be, it's a cost that is being incurred that is for this building alone. It's not, I can't say that everyone else is, hopefully we don't have to ever use it.
Sure, sure.
Just maybe as a minor salve in this situation, you say it would have to be paid at, when we obtain the
CO.
CFO, right? So, once we get the CFO, does it mean it's fully rented? Could we postpone that till there's a fully rent up and there's income coming in? And then Steve would be in a better position to pay this?
That has ever been done.
Mayor, I'm sure we all have great confidence in the individual who's before us right now, but things change. The property could be sold, there could be further financial difficulties for the current owner, anything can happen. Now, it's up to the board, it's a business decision, but I'm merely pointing out that a delayed receipt of the fee does increase the risk that the fee would not be received at all. So that's a business judgment, and that's up to the board.
So I think, like everything else, if that becomes an issue, the board can hear you at that time. But I think for now, we can decide on the fact that I think this fee, based on our discussion, it's very hard to waive because it's just the way the practice has been. But I think when it comes to if it's going to be after everything is rented or 50% is rented, that's something that, you can come to the board. If you still feel that you need to do that, we can have the discussion then. So that I don't have a problem to hear that again, like we did with the permit fee. I mean, the permit fee, we extended it without a hesitation almost, that it's going to be until November. Now, if it comes November and things aren't complete, you come back,
Right.
then we'll discuss it then.
No, I greatly appreciate that. I think the fact that I wasn't here probably helped things along. so that's a good thing. I'm so grateful for that. Sure, I mean, I'll accept whatever the board feels, but I just feel that, just like Mr. B just said, it could be a different owner. And I feel like I'm paying 20 years for something that, if I'm not the owner, I'm paying for something that,
Charge him.
and another viewpoint would be, I'd rather pay that on a per year basis. At least I'm paying for what I'm actually using.
We can, listen,
right?
that's something we can, why don't we do this?
Right.
I think for now, we just set the fee for that amount. And when it comes to the CO, we'll talk about it. If you want to
Okay.
pay it and just be done with it, fine. If you want to just pay it per year and we can put some kind of a, yearly lien on that.
Well, again, Mayor, if you don't get the money, you can say, don't put in the hydrant. But if you don't get the money later, you are unlikely to say, take out the
I hear you. So
hydrant.
I think we should discuss this when we get to that.
Okay, but my understanding is the fee was 10,000 before. Is it now increased, or?
I didn't say that. I said
Okay.
even though it has to be 11,000
Okay.
based on the current fees,
Okay.
which hopefully won't go up, but I'm sure that like everything else will go up, but we still keep it at 10,000 because that's what I said in the beginning.
10,000 or
see.
11,000?
Well, I'm
10,000.
going to say 10,000.
10,000,
I mean, that's what I'm
very good.
proposing. Obviously, the
Yeah,
board
that's
can. 10,000, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hopefully you finish by October.
I'm sorry?
Hopefully you'll finish by October.
I actually had a question about that, but I want to keep my mouth shut because I heard it was done from the demo permit. So, we will try to be as fast as we
We'll
can.
see, but we'll see. Hopefully
I
you come
think-
back and say that everything's done by November.
I think you all know that I've always kept my word, okay? And I have delivered on what I said. I haven't changed anything, and I hope that means something to the village.
All right.
And it's so great not to see everyone in partitions.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Mayor, is
Good luck,
there a motion to approve the request to install the hydrant at the designated location, subject to the receipt at an appropriate time of the sum of $10,000?
Well, we said that it's going to be before the CO unless the board does.
Not later than issuance of a CO, subject to further board determination.
That's right.
My question is, it's gonna happen before the start paving? Because I don't want.
Yes, of course. They
It's
can,
gonna be,
they're not,
it's gonna be done before.
We're
not
gonna,
start
we're gonna
paving.
get on this by tomorrow. I mean,
Yeah, well,
yeah, they already have discussed.
Well, the agreement with the water authority is that they need to get a approval from the village, whether it be from Abraham, a verbal or something.
Yes, it's
that
gonna be
it's
done
been
tomorrow.
approved. He can start tomorrow, basically.
Okay.
Good.
And that's the goal, because once Middle Neck Road is paved, this is completely off the table.
Yes.
If the board is voting tonight, then the resolution is effective tonight, even if it doesn't appear until the minutes are approved at some
That's
later
fine.
point in time.
Okay.
So is there a resolution to authorize the installation of the hydrant for a fee of $10,000 payable by issuance of the C of O, subject to further board approval? And is there a motion to that effect? Moved by trustee Cashy, seconded by trustee Hope. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you again.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Okay.
I got you.
Mayor, do you want to continue with agenda items of new business or go back to the public hearing?
You know, we can, let me see, we have these, I think these individuals were here for, is this for, everyone's here for the noise complaint? No, you're not, okay. You're for a different complaint? Ah, court or us? Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
Beach
oh.
Road, okay.
Okay, fine. So let's do the noise thing and then,
We'll do
777, what do we have? I'm sorry, Carl, one second. Dr. Abraham.
Dr. Abraham, 1 second, we'll
Yeah,
just give us the moment.
very brief.
What is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's here.
It's an extension of the site plan approval for 777 Middle Neck Road. They're currently having the plans reviewed by Nassau County DPW for the 239F approval, which is required before a building permit can
Which
be
one was
issued.
777?
Sure.
Sure.
Right? The one that, by Good Tile?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're asking for a 12-month extension of that approval so that we can get everything in order so that we can then obtain a building permit.
And I need some clarification, because what they approved by this board was a 3-story building,
That,
and they submitted a 4-story building for a permit.
this is for
Two
the,
different projects.
this is for the 3-story building.
Okay,
We're
I'll
only
make that
proceeding
clear.
with the 3-story building. The 4-story building is
Second application.
separate application that is, to my knowledge, not being
'Cause
pursued.
That's all I have plans for is a 4-story building,
Right.
not a 3-story.
The 3-story,
Right, so I understand. So can you have two applications for the same lot?
Either.
It doesn't say that. It says, does the mayor want me to do this in open session or executive session? The local law that was passed, as I recall, and I don't have the wording in front of me, set an expiration date on the grant of incentives.
No, but then we had two. Then we had another one that said that you can't go. I mean, I don't understand how that can work, that you can have two applications for the same project.
I'm not recalling that one. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Can you have two applications for projects? Forget what we passed. To me, it doesn't make sense. I want to know if there are two applications for a project.
there is one application being pursued. That is the 3-story building that was approved for site plan, facade, and architectural by this board. I think at some point there was a thought of possibly going and amending that or doing a new application for a 4-story. That is not being pursued. We're only talking about the 3-story building that has been approved by this board. And that
Steve,
was
is-
as
do
of
you
right
have
with no
an
incentives.
application for 4-story building?
So the application was for 3 stories that went before you. for the
I
site
understand.
plan.
I remember that.
The plans that were brought in, when I needed construction plans, were brought in for 4-story building, which is a completely different building. It's a whole different application, but no application followed it. So that's why I had to get clarification. 3-story is what was.
I don't know.
That's, it's
I,
a lot of.
I need, if you
I-
ask the board to give something, I need to know from my building department. He's saying he has a 4-story, you're asking for a 3-story.
The-
The 3-story was granted,
Yes.
but never pursued. The
No.
4-story was sent in. So I don't understand. I don't like to be, again, I'm gonna say it in public, I don't like to be played. So if the applicant is interested into 3-storying, he should withdraw the 4-story.
I will
If
have
he wants the 4-story, he should withdraw the 3 stories.
I will have a letter
You
submitted.
cannot have the cake and eat it too.
I will
Doesn't
have a
work that
letter
way.
submitted to the village withdrawing any application or any plans related to a 4-story building on this property tomorrow. So I apologize for any confusion about that, but we are only talking about the 3-story building that has been approved, and that is what is being pursued.
Okay. Okay, then I'm willing to make the motion to approve what is it, 12 months they're asking for?
That's correct.
Okay.
The application, I believe, was approved on May 4th of 2021. So the extension would, for 1 year,
Would be from that date.
Well, it was granted on May 4th of '21. It would therefore expire in May of '22, and I think you're now asking for a one-year extension to May of '23?
Correct. We got before the board before it expired, trying to stay ahead of the game.
Very good.
But that, again, that I would approve that or move that if the letter will be received tomorrow before 5 o'clock, that the other application is rescinded.
Okay,
Okay.
that works.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Wait, did we vote?
No.
No.
You didn't vote yet, right?
I moved it.
Is there a motion to approve the extension of site plan approval previously granted on May 4th of 2021 to the date of May 4th, 2023, subject to receipt of correspondence by tomorrow, close of business, withdrawing any indication that there is an application for a different project on the same property, specifically withdrawing any 4-story and only proceeding with the 3-story?
All right. I mean, if they want to proceed 4-story, then that's fine, but then they have to withdraw this, whichever they want.
We
You
are
cannot have
proceeding.
two. Okay.
We are proceeding with the 3-story.
Fine, good enough.
Is
So
there
I
a
move
motion to that effect? Moved by the mayor, seconded by trustee Hope. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I'll call you tomorrow. If you can stay for 5 more minutes. All right. Hello, how are you?
Good evening, everybody. Mr. Mayor, the board, and as you can see from the petition that was before you today, it's signed by everyone on Baker Hill Road, Berkshire Road, and Margot Court. All of those residences, Margot Place, all of those residents are surrounding the noise. Within 100, 150 feet from the noise that emanates from Chosen's fan. Now, I've been before the board many times. I was told once not to come, that it was being taken care of by Michael, a gentleman that's with the building department. I was also told that they were going to get a violation. Violation was never issued. And I was also told, and it wasn't Steve Aramis that went down to issue the violation. It was the new employee that went down with Chris. I was also told that the owner was told by a representative from the building department that they met the code and they didn't have to do anything. Well, we've also experienced the deliveries to the stores in the back. Not Bagel Hut, he will not accept deliveries, but the other stores at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:15 in the morning, 4:30, and 5 o'clock in the morning, with the trucks backing up into the alley delivering goods. Now, and this, it's been a few years since many members living in the area have come to the building department and complained with no results. Okay? Now, and there is evidence from the petition that a lot of people are bothered in their quality of life with reference to living with the noise 24 hours a day, almost 7 days a week in most instances. I have a gazebo in the back of my yard. We haven't been able to go out and enjoy dinner since it's been up, or any meals, any barbecues outside. People prefer to go inside. Why? Because of the noise that emanates from the fan from a Chosen. It's not anything
Carl,
else.
can I just interrupt you for a minute? I think I've heard this so many times that I just don't know what is it. Why is it that the village can't take care of this?
So, the inspectors went out there, they did not, they're claiming they did not hear any noise at the time they went there. They took the sound level meter out there several times, and it did not go above the decibels that are.
See, I went there once, and I can tell you that that thing is very loud,
Well,
very loud. And I don't know, maybe it was off at that time.
I
And I
think
don't know how it can
they
do
get
so.
notified.
When I went there, the loud sound we found out was from the bagel store, which we had corrected.
Right.
Every time I went by there, and I went down there after these board meetings, et cetera, at nighttime, I don't hear anything. I know Pizza Rocks has been leaving their fans on.
No, but this was, I went there and it's this thing coming from the kitchen, I think, that kitchen or
Kitchen
something
of
that is-
Chosen, it's all it is, first of all, they never received a C of O to even place the fan in the wall, and all that fan is it brings in air from the outside above their kitchen sink. And even when it was 12 degrees out, 17 degrees out, the fan was on at night. In the spring, summer, and fall, okay, we cannot leave our windows open. Our bedroom faces the alley, and if you open the windows, all you hear is the fan. And if you take a look at the fan has been there since 1999. They've received a violation in 1999, and they ignore everything that the building department tries to correct. They ignore it, and then it's allowed to persist. I'm going back to 1999. Okay? Now, if you take a look at those photographs, you'll also see that I have a professional decimeter here. And Monday, we went and measured it, and you can see what the reading was. The reading was 67 decibels. Now, even ANSI standards require, if you read the petition, ANSI standards require 45 decibels, but there is a code that we have. And we have a law in the village of Great Neck, and it's not being followed. Okay? The Chosen intentionally ignores the code, and it's Section S of our own code. That's a law. It's a law. It's not something of discretion by the board. It's a law. It reads as follows. Any other noise of such character, intensity, and duration as to be detrimental to the life or health of any reasonable person of normal sensitivities or contrary to the public welfare is prohibited. It's our law. It was issued in 2012 and 2013. Am I correct?
You appear to be correctly quoting it.
Thank you. Am I correct that it's a law?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, when it was the Chosen was first issued the violation in 1999 by prior owners, the two prior owners, it was ignored at that time too. And if you see, the building department issued a violation, and I enclosed a copy of that letter, the violation with the petition. And you can see that in that time prior to 2013, that the building inspector stated the same reasoning as to why they should reduce or eliminate that noise. Now, we're here today as a group. We are unified as residents in the area. Okay? It's not something that one or two people are complaining. The whole neighborhood is complaining. Okay? We'll get into the people receiving deliveries early in the morning. That's one thing. But let's take care of the fan. The fan does not belong there. When it's 12 degrees outside, the fan is on. 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside, the fan was on.
Dr. Abraham, I have been there, and I told you, I agree with you. I just don't know what it is that we can't get them to just deroute or put something in front of it to decrease the sound.
You can't. First of all,
this fan is from Chosen. I don't know if the other ones also have an issue, but it's just becoming an issue. That place is very loud.
What we found out was that the pizza place is leaving theirs on overnight because
Theirs
they
is-
don't wanna shut their ovens off.
Theirs is not as
They leave
noisy.
everything on
Yeah,
all night.
usually pizza stores don't shut their ovens off because I don't know, because apparently it's
You can't shut their
Yeah.
ovens off.
Because
That-
it takes a long time for it to heat up.
Right.
Right.
So they
Can
leave
we
the
just deal
exhaust
with
fan
one
on.
problem?
The exhaust fan is what's making the noise.
but also chosen. I've heard that I don't know if it was after midnight.
Every time I've been there, it was unplugged. When they close up, they unplug it, it shuts off.
Let me, wait,
That's what,
first of all, let's stop this. Somebody,
I'm just telling you,
somebody,
when I went there, that's
Go
what it
right
was.
now, see what annoys you here. Go right now, until
Wait.
10 o'clock.
wait,
Please.
we're not here to yell and scream.
Listen, Mayor,
Uh,
listen, Mayor. Mr. Mordecai told me put a plexiglass on your windows. I am right behind that. He told me to put a plexiglass over my window. Is that right thing
I
to
don't.
do?
Again, you have to realize I sympathize with you and I agree with you.
No,
I just want to find a
you-
way
you-
that
you-
we
you
can
cannot-
stop
This gentleman is being honest with you.
I don't
Go
disagree
right
with you.
now.
I was there. I went there. Carl, I even called.
The mayor was with me. The
I
mayor
went
was
there
with
to
me.
see it. I
Please.
don't disagree with you.
Let's
I
not
agree
yell
with
and
you.
scream.
But
Look,
I just need to know. It can't be that it's not there. It's there. I just need to know what we can do to solve the problem.
I can
uh,
tell you what to solve the
No,
problem,
but
if I may.
what you say may not be what they are. I need to know what it is that it is in our power for them to stop emitting this much noise. They are making a lot of noise. It is a nuisance.
And summonses will be issued, we'll get them into court, and then I'll have to remedy the situation.
But who's going to issue the
I will
summons?
personally issue the summons.
All right, may I just say this? Okay, we're not there to put anybody out of business. May I make a suggestion? It's easy to solve. All they have to do is remove the fan from the window and have the fan put inside the kitchen and have a chute go out to where the fan originally was and draw the air in from the outside into the kitchen and let them listen to the noise all day. Very simple. Listen, I design a lot of products. I know how to rectify situations, modify situations. They deal with the building codes. I deal with more than the building codes. First of all, there is no building code that covers that fan. They never received a C of O to put a noisemaker outside in the alley, annoying all of the neighbors. They never
Even
received a
I
C
think
of O.
even changing the fan to a different fan.
They can't. It can't be there. You
No, but I'm
cannot
just saying,
have it
even
there.
changing it can possibly make the noise go away. But that place makes a lot of noise. Listen, you may not hearing during the day when the cars are driving by because there's a lot of background noise. But at night, I'm telling you, it makes a lot of noise. Whichever one of them does, I don't
Wow.
know. I heard from
we,
this
we
one.
can talk all
But
day.
I think, please just tell them that this is a nuisance. If the code says it, and I believe that our council agrees that this is a code, and they're in violation of the code, they have been given warning. You can be nice enough to give them a remedy, but the violation has to be issued.
Well,
Not
Mr.
the violation, I think summons. They already have the violation.
Mr. Mayor, we would like a ruling today rather than just talk
But
about it.
it's not. There's no ruling. There's a
Well,
direction.
what is the ruling?
I'm directing the building department to issue summons to whichever of these building
No,
stores
I want,
are.
we want it we want the fan removed.
Well, they have to. We can't order. We can ask them. The court is the only one that can order.
Okay,
So if they get summons and they go to the court can tell them remove it.
So, okay, we can then attend the court session at the same
You
time.
can, but
and then,
that's again. I can't. I don't think that I can go there and actually arrest them.
no, I didn't ask you to arrest them.
Or just
But how many days do they have once they receive the violation or the summons?
Say it again.
Excuse me?
How-
When will they receive the summons?
Tomorrow.
And how many days will they have once they receive the summons?
It says
to-
on it when the court
to
date
go
is,
to
right?
court.
Court date, I don't know what the next court date is.
Yeah, he puts on it the next court
You have
date.
to give at least 2 weeks notice.
2 weeks'
If
notice,
you're in court, yeah.
okay?
Excuse me, can you send a copy of the summons to Mr. Abraham, please?
No, I cannot.
You
You
cannot.
cannot do that.
Summons goes to the person that you don't get a copy of.
No, you don't get a
Send them
comment.
summons.
Only if I
100%.
represent them in court.
Thank you.
No, I will
I
not
appreciate
represent them
it.
in court.
Thank you very much again.
Okay, so, all right, so everything else be taken care of. And I thank the board, I thank Mr. Mayor for your indulgence. It's been very difficult.
I hear you.
Abraham, do you have a copy of that summons you told? 'Cause I don't see it in this.
The summons?
Yeah, you said
Yes,
you
I
had a copy
do.
of summons.
I'll give you
I don't see it
mine.
here.
There
I
you
was
go.
wondering, is there any way that if we asked them to switch the fan to a quieter fan, would that help?
No,
Can't.
no, it
This
won't
fan looks kinda
help.
old.
And
Doesn't
you know
look,
why? It's put right in an area where there's an echo. You see, it's right, there's something on top, and it surrounds the fan on
makes
top
a
of it.
very
Now,
whooping
take a
sound.
look at the fan, by the
It's
way.
like a,
It is a very old fan.
it sounds
Yeah,
like a
very
jet.
old. Look how dirty it is.
Yeah, it's.
And that's all the air and dirt is being brought into the kitchen.
This is what it's a.
No, we all know, no, we don't
This
eat
is an
there for a lot
exhaust?
of more reasons than just the noise.
This is not an
Do you have,
exhaust. This
so
is
do
a
you have the
fan
copy
going
of
in.
the?
Yes, I
I'd
do
like to
have
see
a
it.
copy. You may have mine. This
Just
the
want to take a
original
look
one
at
in 1999?
Whichever you have.
Is this
Most.
going
Yeah, I
into
got the one.
kitchen?
No, this is
It
the
goes
only one I
into
have.
the
It's from
kitchen.
1999.
It blows air into the kitchen
It's
with all
blowing
that stuff.
dust. It's dust. I don't
This
know.
was before
You don't have to tell me.
2013.
I'm not the board of
Well,
health.
the answer
Did
was
they need a CO for the
and they wanted it 45 decibels. And you can see, if I can show you, Mr. Mayor.
That didn't have to appear on their plans?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if you can see, on Monday, the decibel level was 67.
Yes.
Okay, with a professional one that costs several $100, not $50. Okay, I do want you all for nothing, an app. So I do want you to know that it is very noisy, and we cannot open the windows in any way whatsoever.
This is a violation, no?
This is in.
1999.
This is a
Yeah.
violation. It's not, I don't see any.
Yeah, it's a violation.
Court.
You're hereby ordered to
Remedy situation.
remedy it. Okay, so this is a notice.
Yeah, but it's not a summons, right?
Oh yeah, whatever it is, it's a
So
notice that
23 years
was.
ago, we could have changed the fan 23 years ago, and this is what it looks like now.
No, it's the same, by the way,
Do you want
It's the same fan.
Same fan, it's disgusting.
It's made in America.
It's gotta be something.
It's definitely not a.
It's a great job.
It's a made in
It
America fan.
stands time, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I know.
We're working. 2 years.
I'm just.
I'm gonna actually go in there and check it out
I
tonight.
just want to
see
talk
what,
to you for a second outside. All right, we can resume. We're okay with this?
Huh? Where you going?
We can. No, I'm just going to talk to you for 1 second.
Take a break. Oh my God. Shut down in 2 seconds. 2 seconds we shut down. But I'm gonna go look at it tonight. It's really, I heard about it before. It just doesn't make sense. Straight from me, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go straight there.
Before 10 p.m. I just
Well, if we finish it with it. But by 10 p.m. he shuts off?
yes, one of them.
One of them shuts off.
Okay. All right.
Chosen one, so okay. Before I go, there's a little alley, right?
Okay, Mayor, we can go back to item D. I'm sorry, it's very loud.
I want to give it back to Dr. Abraham. Into evidence.
Okay, let's go to.
Request to move penalties.
41 Beach Road.
41 Beach Road.
Thank you.
No problem. I'll go check it out for sure. Absolutely.
Good luck, guys. Hi. how
Hi,
are
good
you?
evening, Mayor.
Good
Good evening, the Board of Trustees. My name is Ben Mokadasian. I'm a resident at 41 Beach Road.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We received a violation for a rear patio that was installed. We moved into our house 5 years ago, and the patio was there when we moved in. We messaged the village in January about the
Is
notice.
the mic on? Is the mic on? No.
Hello?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's
so.
fine.
We sent an email to the village regarding the notice in January. They told us they'll get back to us. We were going back and forth, and they told us to come tonight to talk.
Who told you to come tonight?
Jackie.
Jackie told you to come tonight?
Jackie Newtown, yeah. I sent the email. She first told me to email you guys, and I did. And then she said no, she
Why is
wants us to
this?
come in.
I just lost everything here. Okay.
You wanna see that?
What is that? Okay, so what is it that exactly going on? So,
The patio,
It's not even anything above ground. It's just like some stones in the grass that already existed. But we recent. I said it's just some stones in the grass. It's not anything above ground. But we recently just got a violation after living there for 5 years. We don't know when it was installed, but for some reason, we got a violation for. I think it has. So we're just asking if you can dismiss it.
How big is the area?
wait, so I want to know what.
So a complaint came in that there was a patio installed without a permit.
From who?
You can't say.
Anonymous.
Okay, but I think it has to do for something that's tit for tat.
I
Yeah, no,
don't
but
know,
listen,
I don't know, but a complaint came in, and the inspectors went out, looked, came back and confirmed that a patio was installed. There was no record of any patio being installed on the premises. They went back, I think it was to 2012, if I remember correctly. They went on Google to see that the patio was not there, but the patio
You
is
could
there
see
now.
that on Google
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back,
That's insane.
for the back of the house?
yeah.
So 2012, it wasn't there.
I believe it was, I don't wanna, don't quote me on the exact, year, but the inspector said they went out there, they went back so many years, the patio wasn't there, then the patio was there, they believe it was put in the last 5, 6 years, they don't know. So apparently, when you purchase a property, you're supposed to get a search. Whether a search was done on the property or not, I don't know, but complaint came in, permit had to be taken out, they asked, "Will fees be waived?" I said, "I don't have the right to waive triple the fee, because that's what it is, it's triple the fee. It was done without a permit." So normally, the procedure is you buy the house, you buy the problem, it doesn't go away.
You can't see behind that.
So how was the?
Mayor, just to add to that, and again, I'm not suggesting the outcome, but when a purchaser purchases property, that purchaser is responsible to inspect the property and make sure that the property has all the proper certificates that it's supposed to have. So you often will get a title search, which can include a building department search and determine whether or not it has a certificate of occupancy for all the structures you see on the survey. It is not unknown that some people don't do this, but that is the legal responsibility of the purchaser. So the expression is, you buy the property, you own the problems. Now, you know, it can happen that someone buys the property, doesn't do that kind of inspection, and is unaware that they are buying a problem that exists in the house. That is unfortunate, and certainly this.
How big are we talking about? How big is this patio?
I don't even know the size of the property, to be honest with you, I don't
It's
even
not
know
very
the size of it.
It's not very big.
Was a search done, and it just wasn't caught?
I think a
I
search
don't-
was
I
done.
don't do this kind of stuff. I mean,
Well, that's why I'm asking.
for a patio. I don't
No,
know.
but you do a search for the whole property, you're not doing it for a patio.
Well, I mean, I guess. Why can't I get on this damn thing? Okay.
I'm not seeing the patio in the Google search.
No,
I'm
but you
looking-
Google search, you're looking at the front of the house. You have to, the patio is behind, in the
Right,
backyard.
yeah, no, but I don't think it shows that.
No, no, but you have to do a
Aerial?
The aerial, yeah.
Maybe I'm seeing.
So the long short of it is, I don't have the authority to waive any fees, it's all by.
I want to know, but how much are we talking about? How big is the? I mean, if you're
What
saying
was the
fee,
permit fee?
I think like $400 without the triple.
It was $400 on the, so it was a 400 square foot patio.
okay.
The triple the fee would be $1,200.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't remember, but
I don't know.
I think I remember thinking like, what's the big deal? I can pay for it now, but they're like, no, you have to come to this, and he said I don't have the right to do it.
Who said?
Someone I spoke to on the phone said Steve said he can't.
You can't what?
I asked, can I just just
No,
take
I
care of
can't-
the
I
fees
can't-
now.
No, and what I explained was, I can't waive.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
Whoever I spoke to over the phone said that you can't do it.
We wanted to rectify it outside.
And if I could waive the fees, believe me, I would do whatever I could, but I don't have that authority.
No, but if you're prepared to pay the fees and rectify the problem, that does not need to come to the Board of Trustees.
Right, but they said that it's already too, I didn't want to pay the triple fees, what I'm
Ah,
saying.
okay.
It was done without a permit.
Yeah. And I think if you look up, we have done other work on our property and we have gotten permits for everything else. So to not get a permit for something so small that could have been done.
Oh, why did I do this? I'd like to know if that's the case, what you're saying. Um, I'd like to have a advice of counsel.
Yes, sir.
All right. first one who buys a house and don't know what they've done. And I think it happens that a lot of times when it's small enough, people just say, just we don't know. They don't look at it. If it's a room that is added, obviously it's major and people see. If it's a deck that is just there, I don't think people pay attention. The problem is that a lot of people can do a lot of things and then they sell the house and things aren't done properly. And it's not just the fee, it's just the whole reason that you put in front of other people to do things illegally. So I don't think, based on the history, we believe that you were good citizens, you have done your due diligence and have gotten permit fees for everything else, have done the permits for everything else. In this scenario, we don't believe that you should pay the triple, but it is going to set a precedence if you don't pay anything. So we're just going to ask you to pay double if that's going to be, so we can just make it go. Sorry? The problem is with original is that then there's no, we are setting a precedence that other people can do whatever they want. It's like, oh, we didn't know. So that's the reason. So I don't want, again, because we've seen you done everything else right, and we appreciate you doing everything else right, I think this way is going to be a medium that hopefully everyone's going to be okay. You guys okay with it?
No problem. Thank you very much.
All right, good luck. Thank you.
We're gonna get a bill, how's that, or come to the,
You come to the building department, you'll just pay.
and I'll just pay whatever they have the measurements and everything of what the cost is gonna be?
They'll measure it. If you don't have it, if you don't know what the measurements are, we'll have to go out and see.
So we'll get them.
Is there a motion by the board to authorize the building department to accept double the fee in this particular instance?
I'll move it.
Moved by trustee Cashy, seconded by trustee Hope. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Good
much.
night.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And that takes us, I think, to the road dedication agreement.
Oh, we have a road dedication also. Okay.
Mayor, does the applicant wish to address the board briefly on this?
Andrew Filipazzi, Harris Pullman Archer on behalf of the applicant. Based on, this is an amendment to the original road dedication agreement that was approved back in May of 2017. Peter, correct me if I'm wrong. We're coming back to the board for a slight amendment due to an issue with the Great Neck Water Pollution Control District that requires the road to be dedicated before the individual houses can be hooked up to the sewer line that's already been installed in the roadway. And the original agreement was that the village would take dedication upon the final top coat. The final top coat can't be put in until the COs, until the heavy equipment's been completed, which would be construction of all the houses. We're in a bit of a catch-22. If the village doesn't take dedication, the houses can't be hooked up, and if the houses can't be hooked up, then we wouldn't be in a position to put the final top coat and dedicate to the village. So at this time, we're asking the board to accept dedication early, where the applicant would pay the remaining dedication fee, would post a bond to ensure that the final top coat be installed at a time where it is appropriate, and that the applicant would maintain all insurance required by the village attorney and the building department to ensure that the village is adequately protected. And Peter, the applicant's taking back an exclusive license so that it would be a de facto private right-of-way, but would be for purposes of record, and so that the Great Neck Water Pollution Control District can hook up the sewer lines to the existing to the new houses, would be a public roadway in the village.
Mayor, the applicant had made those representations about the Great Neck Water Pollution Control District, insisting that the dedication take place first. We asked the district to supply us with confirmation of that. It came in late this afternoon. We have it on email, but unfortunately we're not able to print it out yet. But I have that in front of me, and they have confirmed that indeed they are insisting on the dedication taking place first. Therefore, the roadway dedication agreement that you see before you is actually an amendment of the prior agreement under which the village was agreeing to take the road dedication in exchange for a dedication fee of 62,500 or
62,000.
62,000. And various requirements were put on the developer to meet under that agreement. They had to meet all the specifications for full completion of the roadway, after which we would take dedication. That agreement's in place. They're now asking that that be amended, that we accept the dedication early, and that they finish the roadway after we've accepted the dedication, because that will allow the Pollution Control District to finish their work, get the COs, and then come back to us. They're providing a bond and indemnification agreements. It's, I think, reasonable and adequate assurance, but it is an incrementally increased risk to the village that we're now relying on the developer to complete the roadway after the dedication rather than before.
What's the bond that is being put out?
The bond amount, I believe, is $30,000, which was the number that was proposed by the building department, or I believe it was the building department. And just to note, the only aspect of the road that isn't complete is the final top coat of asphalt. The road has been substantially completed. That final top coat wouldn't be put on until the heavy machinery that's used to construct the remaining houses in the development is through, so that we are not paving and repaving and repaving.
Steve, have you looked at the road?
Yeah, everything is done except the top coat. I spoke with the village attorney to say that in the agreement to please add that if anything was damaged underneath, they would be responsible to fix it before the top coat's put on. They wouldn't bear any cost to the village.
Right.
And the top coat fee was put into the.
How many square foot, or how many linear mileage is the road?
188 tons of asphalt would be put to the top coat.
That I don't know. I know it's a 50-foot right-of-way.
It's 50 foot?
Believe so, unless I'm...
So
I don't have the survey.
It's 250,000 for a mile, right?
It was 188 tons, I believe.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I'll
unless the
defer to
place
Steve.
is completed, the CO is not going to be given. So I just want to make sure, right? Okay. So
well, no, the right, the COs would be issued after the roadway is completed. No,
Is that the way I was written?
no. As I recall, the dedication was originally subject to getting the C of O. What now we're doing is taking the dedication in advance and requiring the applicant to finish the roadway after.
So the road. So what I'm suggesting is for the amendment to include that the CO will be given after the road is completed. Now, it can be under us, but if they're not going to complete it, they don't get the CO.
Well, the only issue with that is that I don't believe every house is being built at the same time.
Correct. They have 3 houses complete. The 4th house.
But they can't really occupy those houses anyway while they're doing the road.
They can occupy the houses because it's only a top coat that needs to be done on the road.
So they could drive over it and it won't damage?
You could drive over it, will not damage. The reason that they did 3, they're on the 4th house now, which is almost complete. They have 4 more houses left.
It was an 8-lot
Yeah,
subdivision.
so it's 8 lots, so it's the heavy equipment going back and forth. We didn't want the top coat on there.
That I understand. I just want to make sure that this. I don't want the village to be
Well,
left
that's why
doing.
it was written up the way it was written with Peter.
Can we give TCOs?
That's a good question.
Well, the indemnification and the insurance would remain until all the houses are completed.
I understand. I just don't want to deal with the headache of going after anybody. So if you can give it TCO, you guys can go ahead and rent it, sell it, do whatever you want to do. But you have to realize that if the road is not going to be completed after the number 8 house is done, CO will not be issued.
No, the road, once the 8th house is done, the road would be paved
I
with the final
understand.
top
That's
coat.
what we hear, but I just want to make sure.
If somebody wants to buy a house, they will not be able to get a mortgage with the TCO probably.
They cannot?
Probably not.
That
No,
that
that's
will be
not
subject
true.
to the individual bank.
No, I don't think that's true. We did have, no, that's not true. Because we did have that individual that we had a discussion with. He was waiting for a TCO in order to move on.
We got him a TCO to get his.
You got a TCO for him? The electrician came, the case we had upstairs with Ben?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if that's the case,
And also, what about the village liability if somebody falls on the unpaved road?
That's the purpose of the insurance provisions of the dedication agreement. The owner is to, first is going to indemnify and hold the village harmless from any such claims, and also has various liability insurances that will also provide, and names the village as additional insured.
okay. All right, so if that,
Again, I'm not pushing this on the board. I'm simply indicating I think there is a reasonable level of security that the top coat will be finished by the developer after the dedication takes place. But
Right.
I
I mean,
think
even
the
if-
mayor
even-
made a good suggestion that the building department only issue TCOs until after the roadway is fully completed, and then issue the COs.
okay. You okay with that?
I would need to double check with my client to make
All
sure that that would be okay. I think that would require a minor revision to the agreement. I'll
Or
only
we
say
can
the
even say
indemnification.
the last two houses, you hold the last two houses CO. I mean, the houses are gonna worth more than $1 million each, right? I'm assuming. I don't know how big these houses are, but even if you hold one or two houses from having a CO until they're complete. Again, I don't expect this not to happen, just to save the village from. Yeah, so you can go ahead and do whatever else you want to do. And
Yeah,
then-
my only hesitation is that I don't want to get to the point where where the owner is selling one of the first houses that is done at the beginning of the street, where we haven't begun construction at the end, and they can't close because there's only a TCO.
Right, but there should be. You can say that they're not. They're not going to sell the houses that aren't built, are they?
No, but the houses at the beginning of the road have been substantially completed and probably will be able to have a CO issued relatively soon. I wouldn't want the COs to be held up and the sales not to go forward because the houses at the end of the road
No,
haven't
but I'm
been
just saying you can hold the CO at the end of the road.
For the last two houses.
The last two
You
houses.
have to get the CFO for the first
Let's
six
say we give a
houses.
CFO for the first
So you
five
would hold the
houses,
COs
for
for
the last
7
two.
and 8, which shouldn't be an issue because once those houses are,
Right, exactly,
up,
right.
Correct.
then we would pay.
Right.
I think that's okay. Again, I'll double check with my
Right, you
client
can
in the
just
morning.
I think I would feel comfortable with that. I think the village is safe that way.
Is there a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute a dedication agreement subject to that last condition? Moved by trustee Hope,
I'll second.
seconded by trustee Cashy, and all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Unanimous.
And the next item is.
Oh, there's something else?
No, so Peter, I take it you'll make that revision and we'll talk in the morning?
Yes,
Okay.
I will.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, the next item is a request for a walkathon and a run on May 1st, requested by Friendship Circle.
Yes.
The walkthrough starts on May 1st at 1:30 in the afternoon, starting at the Village Green, and it should end by 2:15 at Pavada Grading at 400 Easter Road. The applicant is not here.
Do you have the path?
There's no map, so basically what I spoke to the applicant, she's saying that they will be starting walking on Village Green, that they are waiting for the village's approval to ask for approval from the park. They will be walking north toward Hicks, they're gonna cross the Merrimack Road and then continue on Hicks Lane all the way toward 400
Are they
Easter
walking
Road.
in the street or walking on the side? There's no sidewalk
On
on
the
Hicks.
street.
Okay, so
They
are we,
had walked last year on one of the side streets, was it?
Rogers? That was something else, I believe that was another walkathon by Mr. Nasmio, I believe.
I mean, that was in Kingston.
No, it was parallel, what's parallel to Hicks?
Fairview.
No, north of Hicks.
I don't think there is anything.
North Road?
Rogers. Right, there's no.
There's nothing that goes straight.
There's no thorough street.
Well, it is sort of, you go down Spring Lane and make the right on Rogers. Yeah, that's fine.
So, again, I don't think I have a problem. It's a county road.
It is a county. Loud. It is a county road, but they're asking. First, they have to ask the village for permission to hold it, and then because it's
I don't have a problem. If they've done it, I think it's a great cause.
Yeah.
I don't think it. I don't think we have any issues with it unless the county and the police has. Otherwise,
they're just waiting for the permission from the village to hold the parade, so then they can go to the county as well as.
I don't have any issues with it.
No issue with that.
I'll move.
That's good.
Second.
Moved by the mayor to approve, seconded by trustee Hope. All in favor?
Aye.
Next. The Haberman proposal?
The next item is the proposal by Michael Haberman office. This is our assessors. They have various items here. The annual assessment update, which is also mentioned, it's called as trending.
You want to do the pledge of allegiance?
The trending, they are proposing at 22,500, which is no change from prior year. Monthly service of 1,200, there's no change from prior years. Then there are small claims as well as tax cert. The small claims are at $125 parcel at no change from last year. And tax certs are at $175 an hour, no change from last year as well.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve the proposal as presented? It's moved by trustee Hope. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by trustee Benenson. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 It's unanimous. Sorry, I just have to take it. The next item are proposal for light and post fixture on Middlewick Road. You can see the fixture in front of you right now. They are sole sourced. You can see the sole source letter right here. They are, once we sign the proposal, they can start manufacturing them. This is how it's going to look. The fixture is included in the price, and the total is $167,970. And it should get to the village between 10 to 12 weeks after approval.
For $6,000 each.
Yes,
Yeah, beautiful.
a little less than 6,000.
And they the manufacturer or the installer?
They are the manufacturers. The installers will be anchors. And we have that proposal. We haven't. Originally, they offered it to us, but they have a 10% markup if they would have gotten it for us. So we are directly sourcing to the manufacturers. So this is with 10% discount. And then once we have it, after 10 to 12 weeks, we could ask for a proposal for anchors to install it for us. The installation should be another $1,000
Each.
each.
Mhm.
They already finished the trenching. We'll get to it in the next proposal. And they are done with all the electric work on Middlewick Road. And they're waiting for the concrete bases to be installed soon.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
They're precast, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They're getting it four unit a week, so they'll be installing it as they come in.
Okay.
All prevailing wage.
Yes, Anchors is town of Hempstead exclusive contractor, so they're all prevailing wages.
Excellent. That's why the price is so cheap, right?
The price is very expensive because they're paying prevailing wages, but.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move it.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous.
I think this is going to beautify our end of the town significantly, and I think it's a great investment.
Okay.
this is unforeseen. The sign the contract with anchors, as you can see in front of you. This is to fix the light, to fix the electric wires, put the conduit under all the existing lights and prepare it for the lights that you just approved. The issue with it was he was supposed to use a directional drill, I believe it's called, to just go under the ground without opening the trenches. However, after they started the work, they noticed that there are a lot of other utilities in the underground that they cannot just use directional drill. They had to open the road. They have opened it at 2 feet wide. The county now wants them to fix it, even though they're going to pave it. They want it to be a topped off and fixed as if that they are basically, it's ready to be used, even though they're going to mill it and pave it again.
I think they want up to 2 inches of the road to be compacted.
12 and a half.
Right, meaning like 2 inches below the level, because that's what they're going to mill apparently. They're going to mill about 2 inches. So they want to make sure that everything below it is properly compacted. So if anything happens, there's not going to be any opening or any...
Correct. They don't want it to be collapsing after
Right.
they're doing it. So basically what, I was on the phone with gentlemen from the county as well as the anchor, and what came out with the county requires 12 and a half inches. And what they're going to do is they're going to pour 2 inches of asphalt. They're going to use handheld compactor to press it. Those are 5 tons. The county requires a 15-ton. So if it was a 15-ton, which are those huge rollers, but they need a 5 feet trench to bring the rollers. So in order to fix it, they have to first open the road instead of 2 feet to 5 feet. That's going to cost a lot of money. If they would have opened at 5 feet, then all they have to do is just pour everything and ride the roller over it. However, because it's only 2 feet, they have to use handheld compactors. Therefore, they have to do it 2 inches at a time to make sure that it's properly compacted.
Right. Okay.
So Abraham, this is in effect a $35,000 change order on the original contract.
That is exactly the case.
Okay.
It's unforeseen, but
Okay.
is there a motion to approve the updated proposal as presented?
I don't think we have a choice.
I'll move it. Second.
It's moved by trustee Kashi and seconded by trustee Hope. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you, it's unanimous. Mayor, would you like to go to the budget?
Yes, please.
Okay. Trying to make it really fast. My computer cooperates. Okay. This is the original tax cap form that was filed with the state.
Is the microphone?
It's on.
No, it becomes very loud. Maybe you want to put it on the table.
Trying to like move it over there. Is it too loud?
It's
Okay.
try.
Okay. So our tax levy last year was 7,305,677. This is still loud. Let me try to.
You want to use that microphone?
1 second. Is it better?
Yes.
Okay.
Here, use my microphone.
I think it's better right now. Or still too loud.
No, it's okay.
Okay. So basically, after the whole calculation, there's a $280,254 that the levy can be raised. That's about 3.8% that the levy can be raised. This is just an introduction. Now, the appropriate.
It could be raised more because we passed the.
It could be, but the intention is just.
Meaning, no. When we passed.
You passed a local law that allows you to pierce the cap.
Right, so
however.
the cap allows that amount.
Correct.
But, right, so we can raise, not that we want to, but I'm just saying, just to be clear, that amount is the tax cap.
Correct.
Okay.
The total appropriations are 12,154,900.
Use that mic. Here. How about this one?
He's getting that one.
Is this better? Yeah. The estimated fiscal year non-tax revenue would be 1.8 million. We have 102,000. This would be the last year that we are going to use the sewer debt retirement fund that was set up 7 or 8 years ago in 2014 when the sewer district was decommissioned. There's a year-over-year amount that was pulled out from that account to pay for the bond that is outstanding. The bond will be fully paid this year. The last payment will be about 35,000. The reason here is budgeted at 102,000 is the interest that this account has accumulated over the past 7 years. So we will be taking out the entire 102,000 rather than only a 35,000. Unrestricted fund balance that is budgeted is 2.798. I just want to mention the $2 million of it is directly related to the new village hall. We did the same thing for last year. Out of the $2 million that you budgeted, there's only 10% of it is used so far this year, and it's been on architects and engineers so far. The amount to be raised by the levy would be $7,451,971. That is a 2% increase in the levy since last year. The impact of it, I'm going to get to it very shortly. The base proportion, as you could see, it's 87 to 12. The base proportions have changed since last year. Last year it was 87.36. This year is 87.29. The allocation obviously is moving toward the homestead. However, the taxable values are different this year than last year. Last year the taxable value for the homestead were 91.5, and this year they are at 91.7. That causes about $122,000 shift from non-homestead to the homestead. That means the levy on the homestead has gone up by 122,000, and it's gone down by the non-homestead by 122,000. The tax rate will be 2.37 on the homestead. That means if you have a house of $1 million divided by 1,000, that would be $1,000 in assessed value times 2.74. That would be $2,374 in taxes. As far as pilots, Avalon.
I just want to make something clear, and I want you to explain. So the reason that the non-homestead, there's a shift from non-homestead to homestead is because the value of non-homestead has gone down. The assessed value.
The assessed value of homestead.
Correct. So
the assessed value that relatively has gone down.
In the past 2 years, the assessment stayed the same. This year, our assessor looked at all the relative sales and basically trend the neighborhood. And what he found is the homestead has risen by 10%, but non-homestead has not kept up with the homestead of 10%, rather that he raised it only by 5%. So that's why there is this shift between a non-homestead and a homestead in the levy.
So I just to clarify, if we are, this is something I think that this board has been trying to do. I think every other board is the same. If in order for us to be able to keep our taxes, the actual payment of taxes lower, we have to try to shift that from the homestead, meaning people who own homes, to non-homestead, commercials and larger buildings. Doing that requires some sacrifices in the beginning, and I hope that people understand that there are certain things that need to be done to be able to direct or transfer these burden from homeowners to to commercials, and that's
And
why it's important, and multifamily, and that's why it's important for us to really boost up our commercial and multifamily in our villages. Otherwise, the burden of the taxes, not only village taxes, I think also school and county taxes will be mostly on the homeowners. So,
Mayor, at the appropriate Mayor, this is, of course, background information, but you may wish to open the public hearing. Is there a motion to open the public
yes.
hearing?
Yes. I move to open the public hearing.
Seconded by Trustee Hope. All in favor? The public hearing is open.
So, and I think I said that last time, and it's very important for us all to get educated on how we can actually maintain our taxes lower. What they used to do years ago in Manhattan, they used to have commercial spaces on the first floor of every building, and these commercial spaces actually subsidized the residential homes on top. Unfortunately, that has changed, and now the residential on top is actually supporting and subsidizing the commercial on the bottom. Same thing is going on all over the United States and also in this suburb. And the homeowners are now taking a brunt of these tax hikes, or I should say, the direction where the taxes are being collected from non-homestead to homestead. I remember that happened 2 years ago, it happened last year, and I think it's happening again this year. And now we're seeing by the assessment that the assessment of the houses have gone up by 10%. Again, this is not under our control, it's under control of the assessor. And the assessment of the non-homestead, the commercials and multifamily, has gone up only by 5%. This unfortunately is going to put significant burden on the homeowners, and that's why we need to really think about how we're going to plan the future when it comes to new developments. And I believe that these new developments can cushion the tax burdens on the homeowners.
If you take a look at the bottom of the page, you'll see the payments in lieu of taxes. Those are the pilots. Avalon is up to almost $50,000, and PSEG can be raised only 2% year over year. Even though their infrastructure in the village is about 24 million, we cannot tax them at our non-homestead of 3.81. They have some deal with the state that we can raise the pilot on them only 2%. So the pilot this year will be a little over $100,000.
That's from PSEG.
That is from PSEG.
And Avalon.
And no.
The 49,000 is from almost $50,000 is coming from Avalon.
And then
and the 52,000 almost coming from PSEG.
Okay, got it.
The tax levy increase will be 146,114. As I mentioned, it could have gone up to 280,000, but the board wished not to do that. Average homestead assessed value has gone up by 94,000 to 1,039,934. The taxable value increase on the homestead level has gone up by 10.07. On a non-homestead, it has gone up by 7.18. Even though the trending was at 10% and 5%, this shows that a non-homestead they have increased in the value because of the constructions that they have done and renovation that has been done on them. Of course, when the assessed value goes up and the tax levy is not raised with the same percentage, the tax rate will decrease. As you could see, the impact on an average homeowner, as you could see in this area of the calculation, last year, by last year I mean 2022, the average home value was 946,000 almost. Next year in 2023, it will be 1,039,000, almost 1,040,000. The effect of this 2% increase on average will be about $43.74. That's 1.8 effective increase on an average home in a village on a homestead level. In a commercial or a non-homestead, the average tax impact would be about $146 on an average property. You could see the spread. in front of you, there are 4 items that have significantly increased in the percentage-wise. The first one is our debt service, that last year it was about 784,000. The reason for it, it was about 30% of it was subsidized from the capital fund that was paid for the current amount due for 2018 bond that was taken out. This year it will be increased to 1,055,000, and it is expected that fully will be paid from the general fund rather than getting a subsidy from the capital fund. Our fire contract has unfortunately risen by 17%. We are still in negotiation with them to see if we can do anything with bringing their budget down. Their budget is about 2.7 million. To put it in perspective, given that the village has a 10 million, 2.7 would be about 27% of our budget. The other reason that our budget
2.7%.
No, it's 2.7 out of 10 million, so 27% of our budget.
No, but we're not paying.
However, we are not paying, exactly, we are not paying the entire 2.7. We share it with the village of Kings Point, village of Saddle Rock, as well as the 50% of the town of North Hempstead. The underlying issue is not that their budget has gone up. The underlying issue is that the assessment by Nassau County has changed significantly from prior years. It hasn't changed since Sir Mangano was in the office 2012. Executive Laura Curran tried to change and fix the assessment. That has significantly affected our village. Prior to this year, last year, it was 42% was assessed to the village. This year, about
Of the total fire.
Of the total fire. This year is about 48% of it. It is assessed to the village. So almost at the budget of 2.7, half of it is assessed to the village. So that's a significant increase in our budget line for the fire.
Wouldn't the property taxes of Kings Point go up?
No, it's the property values, but we have so many more properties.
Just because, even though
so that
proportionally.
Correct.
Okay.
Also, Kings Point does not have commercial base. We do have commercial, and county-wise, they raised the commercial significantly than Homestead. So because they are Homestead, we are a mix of Homestead and non-Homestead. Therefore, unfortunately, our share has gone up because the non-Homestead has gone up by the county.
So it's funny that our assessors actually decreased the value of, not decreased, but didn't
raise it as much.
As much as Homestead, but the county went and
did it more than a Homestead. Correct.
So we totally
Which totally hurts us, but it also hurts our commercial.
Well, it hurts us.
No,
but yes, they're going to have to pay more taxes probably to them as well.
So rents are going to go up on those storefronts.
The other 2 items, one is insurance, unfortunately has gone up 30% in the past 2 years. The reason for it is the field that they offer municipal insurance has shrunken. There are less companies, carriers in the market that they will offer it to the municipalities. So they are kind of have the monopoly right now.
How much are we paying a year?
230,000 it was, I believe, and it will go. It should go up more this year, unfortunately. And also, the industry in general has gone up because of various issues.
There are
insurance company, insurance in the municipalities.
See, there are. I don't know if we can do this, and it's an open session, so I'm going to ask. There are in medical field, there are times that there are different companies that get together and start a health insurance that they pay into. Is it possible that a bunch of different villages of maybe the same size or different size start putting into a fund and make that to be their insurance carrier?
Yes, in fact, that was done some number of years ago. Now I think it was done back in 88 or 89. It's called the New York Municipal Reciprocal, and a group of schools got together initially, and then it was ultimately expanded. And I think that's NYMER, isn't it? And are you a NYMER carrier? Who is your carrier currently? Is it NYMER or no?
It's not NYMER, no.
But in any event, such groups do exist. One of the downsides is that I think that the municipal entities go to that carrier when their premiums with private companies are going up because they have a high experience rating, and ultimately I think NYMER is not wildly different from the other carriers, but certainly that would be something that Abraham can explore. But there are municipal reciprocal insurance groups.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that we would like to start.
Mayor, in that case, we explored that regarding the workers' comp insurance. You know, it would make sense, for example, if you want to put $100,000 a year aside in a reserve fund, but that would pay for someone, for example, if God forbid they lose a finger or a hand or an arm. But if someone loses their life on job, that's millions of dollars that the village cannot, unfortunately.
And there are also options to do both. You can have municipal reciprocals for up to a certain dollar amount and then umbrella policies above that. It will require significant resources to investigate that and put it together, but it does exist.
The last item that will be has an effect on the tax on the levy would be payroll. As you know, the inflation rate has gone up by 7%, and the cost of living has gone up. Therefore, there is a 4% increase in that has about $80,000 impact on the expenses of the village. The budget is in front of you. If there's any questions, I can answer. I just want to go to the last page. As you could see here, last year we appropriated $516,000. In 2021, the appropriated fund balance was $1,050,000. However, the actual use was closer to $160,000. Last year, there was, as you could see, there was a $2 million appropriated for the new village hall, and the rest was a $516,000. Shortly, I will show you my forecast how we're going to end this year. I believe we are not going to use that 516 or the 2 million, as I just mentioned. Only out of that 2 million, only 10% was used so far. For the following year, the 2 million will remain. However, the amount that will be appropriated to be used from the fund balance would be closer to 800,000. This is the fund balance at the end of the fiscal year 2020. It is under audit. It's the number that I've taken from the books, although it's written unaudited. We are just waiting for one more report to issue the audit report. Therefore, it's written unaudited, just because the opinion has not been published yet. The fund balance would be $8.2 million. We ended the year at about $150,000 deficit. That would bring down the fund balances at the end of 2021 to 8.1. Estimated expenses and revenue, the net of it, we should end the year with at least $500,000 of surplus. There have been a significant decrease in our expenses. I did not explore it to see why there is such a thing, but there is a significant decrease in our expenses. And at the end of this fiscal year, which my sheet should say 5/31/2021 rather than 2022 rather than 2021, we should have 8.6 million in fund balances. As far as the other fund balances that we have in the capital fund, we have 899,000, worker comp, minute amount of $100, unemployment insurance 22,000, debt service fund 205,000, park trust 784,000, community benefits 640,000, and as we just mentioned, the sewer plant debt retirement 102,000. Last item is the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act, that was passed by the Congress this past year. Village has received $523,000 times 2, which is about $1,150,000. $525,000 of it currently is been received by the village, and another $523,000 will be received in the summer of 2022. If there is any question.
As far as the sewer plant, so the money that was put aside, there was $102,000.
It was $850,000 was put aside because there was an $850,000 bond. Now, the money was totally segregated and put in a separate account, and it has accumulated year over year.
I understand. So that $102,000 is the interest that will be put in.
Only $35,000 of it is required to pay for the current amount and last installment of the bond. So the difference between 35 and 102 into the general fund.
It's going to be towards the general fund.
So which will help bring down the use of our appropriated fund balances.
So as of now, you're projecting by the end of this month.
By the end of May, we should have at least $500,000 of surplus. Again, it's not because our revenues has gone up, it's because our expenses, there's a dip in expenses that again I have to further explore to see why is that there.
Could it be payroll?
It would not make this $500,000 of different. It's a huge difference. I have to check to see why is that.
Abraham, are you doing a tax levy and tax rate as well, or just the budget tonight?
I don't think if the budget is ready to be voted on, we are still waiting on the fire contract.
Very good.
As well as a few items that has to be adjusted. So I think this is just a presentation tonight, and then we should be, but we do need a budget by May 1st, or
Before this goes in.
the tentative budget will become our final budget. That I don't think if you want that to happen.
Listen, I think fiscally we're doing amazing. Unfortunately, based on what we've heard, with the reassessment or that happened, I think village got really screwed with this reassessment. In a way, the taxpayers are going to probably take a brunt of it. Also, the 7% inflation has caused a significant havoc in our expenses, as well as the raise and the COLA that we decided. We usually gave COLA of, I think, 1 or 2%. 1.5 to 2%. This year we had to do 4%. We didn't have to, but I think that was probably the right thing to do. And so those are all going to increase, unfortunately, our budget for next year. Now, I don't know, as I mentioned it, I think we had a discussion. I didn't foresee, and that's the reason, again, I want everyone to know, the reason we actually do pass a local law to be able to pierce the tax cap. Not that we're piercing a tax cap, because of these unforeseeable things that actually happen. And I don't know if I'm happy with any increase of taxes or increasing the levy, but I do believe that it's the fiscally responsible thing to do. I believe that we're still within one of the lowest, if not the lowest, village in this area. With our, if we do increase the taxes, we are looking. Right, Thompson did it. Okay, we're looking forward to see what this when you have the budget complete, and I'm hoping.
Every other village raises taxes except for Thompson.
I don't want to tell me how much, but you know roughly how much they increase. You know.
I sent an email to surrounding villages. Majority, well, let's put it this way: most of them did pass the tax cap piercing of it. Yeah. However, they all say it is just to make sure that if the needs be, we're going to override it. However, they did not expect, just like us, that we didn't expect it. It was just a matter of maybe we need to go above it, which thankfully we don't have to go above it. So therefore, we can repeal the law after we pass the budget.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate something that it was after we passed the tax cap override, which gave us the option to do that, did we find out that our fire contract
That is absolutely correct.
was going up by $200,000
17%.
approximately,
Yep.
which on a $10 million budget is 2% increase.
17.
No, 200,000 increase
Oh, yes.
was a 2% increase, would represent a 2% increase in our,
Which would take over basically the amount of a tax cap if we did not have
the override.
if we did not have the amount carry over from year to year, because there's an amount of carryover that you could have from year to year.
Right.
So if we would have just raised the tax cap, if we would have just budgeted the extra 200,000 for the fire, it would have got us up to the limit if we did not have the carryover from year to year.
Correct.
So it would have put us in a very bad situation.
Right. And this is a structural increase to the village of 200,000 a year. So
Correct.
it's not going away next year.
Well,
It
I'm
will not.
hoping that we can come up with something, and I do hope that maybe the fire alert can actually come up with something when they're going to do some reassessment. Again, we're all working for the people and the taxpayers, and we have to do everything in our power. And I'm asking everybody, not only obviously the fire, which is a small portion, but the school, the parks, the library. We all should tighten our belts a little bit and make sure that our taxpayers are safe. I can tell you that the board really worked very hard, and Abraham as well, preparing this. We had multiple meetings to make sure, and every time Abraham said something, the board was like, no, make it lower and make it lower, and he had to go back and he had to go back and forth. We did it multiple times. The goal is really not to increase the taxes, but unfortunately,
It's natural.
First of all, there's nothing.
The price of everything goes up.
Right. Yeah, I know. The price of everything goes up. I'm glad we haven't increased the taxes so far, and we'll see what happens when you have to,
We've had a 6-year run of no tax increase. So
Right.
At some point.
Right.
I just want to mention that because of the other houses that doing renovations in prior years, so let's say somebody's taxes was $1,000 and they did not do any renovation, in fact their taxes could have gone down by, let's say, $20-$30. It could accumulate to more savings, even though if this year the levy is going up by 2% and has the average impact of a $45 on the average house, it will still not get them to the level of the taxes they were paying 6 years ago. It still will remain under that amount.
Right.
Unless they have done major renovation
So
in the
are you
house.
saying for people not to do renovation?
That is not the intention. Please continue to do renovation.
He's trying to kill your business.
Not good, Abraham.
We like the renovations. It's good.
Okay.
The legal ones.
The legal ones, exactly. You want to take it?
Yes, we take a question. Yes, Gene.
First, I'd like to know why the public hearing was held at the end of the meeting, almost at the end. Usually public hearings held at
Right,
8:45.
we had a bunch of people who were waiting. We just wanted them.
Okay.
Okay.
And one trustee was very late tonight.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and wanted to be here for this.
Okay. I just wanted to ask a couple of questions on the budget here. On the courts, what is the consultant? Why do we have a consultant? That's page 1.
Oh, okay. That is the amount that we used to pay to FBS. Those are the people who came out from outside and they were running our ticket system.
Oh,
okay?
okay.
So it has
Yeah.
decreased significantly because we moved to a more modern system. So that number will
Came down
keep
3,000.
continue going down.
Yeah, okay. Page 2, clerk treasurer.
Yes.
Personal services, that is
Those are the
salaries
salaries of the entire
of the
staff.
entire. Oh, because I was going to say there must have been a mistake if he was getting 387 a year.
I would be very happy if I
Yeah.
get
Okay.
387.
So that's for the whole staff then.
That is correct. That includes the majority of people working on this floor.
Oh, okay. that would include a new deputy clerk
That is correct,
when you
yes.
employ one?
Yes.
Okay. I see elections went up.
That's because the
Yes.
cost of publishing has gone up, as well as the cost of renting the machines.
No, they're about the same. 2,000, the machine?
It depends how many machines they get. So it depends if the election will be contested or not. So the more, if it's contested, you have to make sure that you have enough machines.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
enough.
It's doubled the elections from previous. Okay.
No, actually, the election has remained the same. I'm not sure exactly what you were referring to.
I've noticed at the village hall, the electric and gas rates have gone up, but you really haven't put yours up. Haven't your bills gone up?
You will, jackets.
So year over year, this is a 10-year average. So we're hoping that this is just a temporary increase and it will go down. So if you could see the actual number that was used was only 666 if you're referring to the electric,
The electric and gas is 18.
18,200.
And you're keeping it at 18, but you know gas and the electric is,
The
I mean,
amount of,
mine's gone up, yours is going to go up.
that is correct, but again,
I
we're
think you
hoping
should
that
have
it
put
will
that
be.
a little higher to cover you.
I think there are other lines that they could cover for this line.
LEDs.
And it could compensate for that.
Going to
line.
LEDs.
Okay.
Yeah. Going to LED lighting saved us
I have a question on that.
tremendous amount of money.
On the mail, the postage,
Yes.
you mostly do emails and on the website. Why is the postage so
No,
much?
so for example, if the court has to send out summons, if
Oh.
there's an outstanding summon, thousands, not thousands,
Court notices,
hundreds
yeah.
of them have to go out monthly. Add to it,
Okay. Okay.
we do assessment letters
Mhm.
and we do tax bills.
Okay.
So
Safety inspection.
So there are people who don't have email.
Me.
See, that's why the cost is high.
No, you can always give me a
I'm
telephone
joking, Gene.
call.
I'm joking. Keep going.
Personal
It's a 10 o'clock
services.
humor.
yes,
What is that? Personal services,
that's the
440,000.
salary for the entire building department.
Oh, why did you put building department?
It's more official when you say safety inspection. It sounds more official.
Whatever. I won't even go street administration.
That is Mr. Massaro and Mr. Jimmy Newberg.
Yeah, Jimmy. Okay.
Jimmy Neutron.
Snow removal. Oh, talking about street lights, the maintenance. I thought when we was going to do the LED lights, wasn't the company going to maintain them? The ones that installed them?
The ones that
Wasn't that in the contract?
no,
Oh, I'm sorry.
the control is the one that they offered us free for a year. So, for example, from Village Hall, we can see if
Oh, I
there's a
know.
light
Yeah.
out. However, the actual fixing of it, they're not going to pay for it. You have to hire Anchor to go out and fix it. They're not going to come from Canada to fix the light.
Everything needs maintenance.
Yeah, I thought when they were talking about that, they were going to maintain it for X amount of time, but years.
1 year. They gave
Not
us
that
a 1
little.
year free.
Just 1 year.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
But also you have to realize the maintenance have gone down significantly since we've gone to
The cost of light has gone down. The maintenance, no.
maintenance didn't go down. It was
The
supposed to go.
People keep.
Well,
driving
no.
into poles.
No,
Not
no,
that
that's not
maintenance.
maintenance.
No, I'm not talking about people
Driving into
knocking
poles.
lights. I'm talking about maintaining the lights, changing the bulbs and stuff like that.
That definitely
Yeah,
has
we don't have to
Right.
change bulbs.
significantly
Yeah.
gone down. Yes.
Maintenance, as far as people running into them, that's a whole different story. And that's really one of the reasons I do believe we need to have cameras. Because a lot of these people could be caught. All these hit and runs.
The insurance should be covering it.
If
Said
you
that
catch
for
them.
years.
If you catch them, we'll submit it to our insurance carrier.
No, their insurance.
Yes,
If you catch them.
if you catch them, You give
And that's why I'm
your-
saying we
give
should
it to
have
your
cameras
insurance
all
carrier,
over.
they go after them.
Correct.
We don't go after them, the insurance carrier does. It's called subrogation.
Business development, 45,000, it was nothing before, and you're budgeting 45,000 for business development, what is that?
That's something that we're going to do in order to be able to send more information to people. We haven't used it yet, but in order to keep people informed of everything going on, we may have to hire a firm, because everyone's complaining that we don't get enough information, we don't have enough of this, so we may have to do that.
$45,000, why don't you just send them, like you said, a newsletter or something?
Yeah, well, the newsletter also costs money.
Not 45,000.
Not 45. Listen, this is
You need
item.
staff.
It's an item that we're putting on. It doesn't mean that it's going to be used. It's up to that amount.
So, you might take it off.
I didn't say that. It may
Yeah, we
not
may
be
not use
used.
it.
Everything, you see, you know, you have to realize when you do the budget, it doesn't mean you're going to use everything. As you have seen, there's so many things that we put on the budget that we didn't use. You use it because you don't want to go over your budget. So it's better to have some padding in
So
case.
this would be just to send out something, let people know you're
I
going
did not
to
say that.
do
It's for
something?
informing people, whatever
Informing.
that takes, whatever it is.
Why don't
Maybe
they come
maybe
to a
fixing the
village
website.
meeting?
It could be included.
Say again?
Why not, when Love Hutton
Maintaining,
come to
we
a
don't,
village meeting and we'll
maintaining
find
the
out?
website, keeping it updated,
No,
all of
that's
that takes
somewhere else.
a tremendous amount of man-hours.
There's a huge use of social media currently. That basically, if a municipality or any company does not have a presence in social media, basically it's as if they're not in existence. And managing those costs a lot of money.
But this is really one thing I really question. What does celebrations mean?
Celebrations are our 100-year anniversary.
45,000? What are you going to do?
It's a 100-year anniversary of the village, so.
But what are you going to do for 45,000?
We're working on the plans, and we needed to have, we're working on the plans, okay? So we needed to have some budget.
We were
to
thinking
do it.
about 100,000 for 100th anniversary, but we said we're going to give a discount 45,000.
But you don't know what's going to be done yet. Anything?
The way it works, you budget, because if you
But
under
you have to have
budget,
an idea what
we have an idea.
Gene, we have an idea, okay? We
It's an
like we've
idea.
had in the past, we've had the concerts, okay? You have to, we have, you weren't here for a previous where we had the Street Fair and Music Festival?
Oh, that.
Yeah, that. Where, okay.
Well, that was the Great Neck Fair.
Great.
who do you
Well,
think
it's
pays
not
for
just
it?
the Great Neck Fair, it's also turned into a music festival. And we hire, we get bands to play. A lot of the bands this year, we're doing it in conjunction with Destination Great Neck this year, so they're gonna have local talent playing.
Listen, there's a lot going into it.
There's
and
gonna
it's
be a
not-
lot.
It's not done.
A lot of
gonna be in
thought.
June.
We're trying to do something nice, that's all.
Get back. Okay, I won't keep you then, because I'd love to sit down with Abraham and go over line by line like we do with the Park District.
We'll have to
Really, it's a lot better.
Yeah, but
What
you-
did you say?
You know that he gets paid by hour, right?
Excuse me?
You know that he gets.
What did he say?
He gets paid by the hour.
No, Mayor is joking.
What did he joke about?
He said he gets paid by the
I
hour.
said that he's
He
being
said
paid.
that I'm going to cost to the taxpayer dollars for every hour that you're going to ask me a question.
No, you get a salary.
That's why it's a joke.
It's
Mr.
a-
Pierce.
But you also get overtime, don't you?
I do not.
Oh, you don't? That's the other, okay.
So that's why.
So
we
I
ha-
can ask questions.
Anytime.
They're keeping you all night, they don't care.
Any other questions? Yeah.
There's Linziger, 15 Beach Road. I do think it was wrong not to hold the hearing on time because people were at home who wanted to watch on YouTube and so on.
They
And
still
I
can.
think- yeah, but the point is now it's 10:20 and you didn't start this till 9:45. Abraham has done a good job on explaining things, and I'm quite satisfied. But I do wonder if we get a little more light on this fire increase. is there a particular reason why the fire companies need more? Is it because, say, energy costs and fuel costs have gone up so much? Or is there some other?
It's not, I'll let Abraham explain, but it's not an increase in the fire costs. It's a shift
Right.
in the allocation between the villages.
Right.
Because of the reassessment.
I
A
understand.
greater allocation came onto our village.
I get it.
Which caused the increase to the fire.
Okay, so that you partially.
Their budget has gone up only by 2%.
Okay.
Unfortunately, when it comes to assessment, our assessment has gone up in a way that we are now getting 17% more allocated of the cost to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunately, it's caused by the assessment, not because they are raising their budget by thousands of
No,
dollars.
I understand. Well, that helps to explain. Now, do you think that by May 31st there might be any change, or are we pretty much stuck with this reassessment as part of general policy?
You can, of course, tell them.
So
but
they were kind enough to invite us to a meeting. Deputy mayor and myself, a mayor from Saddle Rock, as well as the deputy mayor and trustees of Kings Point. We met with them. We explained our concern. They understood it. They also explained why the budget has to be this way. We are still working it out. I don't know what they can do for us, but we are not. I haven't lost hope yet that they might reduce their budget.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? I don't know. I mean, sometimes you come again the second time. I'm being nice, Gene. Okay.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing? Moved by Trustee Hope, seconded by Trustee Kashi. All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor, given that we are not going to pass the budget and there will be some adjustment, and given that the budget has to be passed by May 1st, I would suggest that we have a non-pre-scheduled meeting in 2 weeks from now. So, and the only item on the agenda would be continuation of a hearing. We closed the hearing. Continuation of the budget hearing, as well as
Wait a minute, so
passing
can
the
we
abstract.
adjourn the meeting.
Yes, Mayor, you can reopen the public hearing if you wish to do so, or continue, or simply adjourn this evening's public hearing over to the next date.
Adjourn. Should adjourn it.
Then in that case, move to amend the prior motion such that the budget hearing will be held over until the next meeting,
I move
which
to
will be
amend. Right.
what date?
It is not scheduled, but it will be the 19th, April 19th. The reason it was not pre-scheduled is because it was in the middle of Passover. But I believe we would have a quorum for 2 weeks from now to pass the budget.
Yeah, I just need to get here earlier. Can we make it for 8:15?
Rather than 7:30?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a pre-scheduled meeting.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
we could meet Saturday morning even if you want.
I don't think I want to meet Saturday morning.
Well, I have a long walk, but
So,
I'm
as long as you provide kiddush, we'll be here.
definitely I'll be here.
8:15 then on
Saturday morning.
I don't want to say
April
Sunday
19th?
morning.
Chalent will be served.
Okay.
8:15 on the 19th.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
Do we have to pass it?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the last two items on the agenda,
We still have items?
there are minutes and abstract. Minutes are going up in front of you in a minute.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. There you go.
We just have to make sure that the minutes
The
include.
DPW, it reflects the the IMA with the DPW of the county.
Right.
What do you mean by that?
When we passed it for the speed not
Oh,
speed
okay.
signs.
Right, okay.
Speed signs.
I made sure to put in a minute that you mentioned that it's not taking pictures and it's not issuing signs.
Yes, I hope people read those minutes.
It's on page 4 of the minutes. Item D for Daniel.
Yes, I see.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion.
It's moved by trustee Mendelson.
Second.
And seconded by trustee Hope. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's passed unanimous. The last item is the abstract for this Friday, I believe is the 8th.
There was something on the abstract for DP hydraulics.
That is a question to the village, probably.
Right, because in the report, it showed 3 repairs and then another 8 repairs. And these were on, I forget which kind of trucks, but I think it was snow plows.
Hydraulics is brakes.
No, hydraulics could also be the snowplow.
Right.
Right. So I guess I was wondering how many snow plows do we have
We have a lot.
Plows go on every truck,
on every truck?
pretty much.
That's the question I will ask from the spring.
Okay, because altogether there were 8 instances, so, or more than 8. 3 repairs in December and then 8 in February. So, there was another question I had about a repaired garage door for $7,500.
I have to ask the attorney, I don't know about that.
Okay, and then the Nassau County Public Works Treasury. What
That's
is
a $1,500 for the 239F for the new village hall that they have to submit
Oh, I see. Okay,
to the planning board.
I see. All right, I'll make a motion to accept the abstract.
It's moved by trustee Mendelson. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, seconded by trustee Hope. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Hopefully, comments?
You see, I told you. I knew.
Yeah. Could I ask, why are you laughing already? Could I just ask, did you put up, or in the process of putting up 3G or 5G on the light?
4G.
4? Because today when I asked the workman outside my house that it's going to be directly in the middle of my bedroom window, whether it was 3, 4 or 5, neither one of the workmen spoke English. They just couldn't tell me what.
We did not have any repairmen today touching the village's lights.
Optimum, no.
So we don't control them.
No, so when we are asking what we put up on the lights that we got from Canada, they're 4Gs.
But I thought.
Right?
The modem is a 4G.
Right. But the modem that we're using for the lights is 4G. But I do believe that everything that is manufactured in America is going to be 5G.
They were putting up today the
Yeah,
little
go ahead.
nodules on the lights.
On village's lights?
No, those
on
were
my
just
street
on
they
the,
were, all
those
the way
were just
down.
on the cables on the street. It
Right,
wasn't.
we don't control them. We don't know but whatever since about 2 months ago, anything that is now installed must be 5G. AT&T and Verizon decided to do everything 5G. Canada,
This was optimum.
right, so they are probably catching up. Canada does not have that coming into effect till next year. They are up to 4G, and therefore they updated our modem to 4G because to replace them with the 5G was very expensive. Rather than just fixing it cost us about $2,000. You will see it on the next abstract. Just updating it from 3 to 4 was $2,000. Next year, when Canada will be changing to 5G, then they have to get a new set of modems, which cost probably about $5,000 to $6,000 each, and we have 3 of them.
Okay. Do you have any idea who's going to be doing the landscaping for Middle Neck Road?
we have few people that send in. We haven't decided to finalize. Also, we have to wait. They all pretty much said that it has to be done after the road is
Oh,
paved.
sure, yeah, of course. But will you present them to
Yes.
at a meeting so
Yes,
public
when we
can
have
decide?
when we choose one, we'll present it.
And one thing on Friday, there's going to be, or at least this is what the gentleman said that I met yesterday, the rally on Friday on outside, you know, where you have your pocket park on Everfresh? You know, where people sit to eat outside Everfresh? And there's the firehouse. They're going to have the rally for Ukraine.
On Friday?
Yeah. And he said that it'll be really busy. This is what he said. I'm telling me, he's collecting money for Ukraine, and it'll be outside Everfresh in the firehouse. And I thought, if you knew about it, maybe you could, or he's come to the village to ask you, you know, permission.
So
you could move it from the firehouse a bit, because if there's a, you know, if the trucks have to come out quickly and you've got all the high school kids there, it
Yeah,
might be.
go ahead. I don't know if you know
So
something.
there's a gentleman that came here on either last Thursday or Friday. I don't remember exactly the date that he came.
With a foreign accent?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he said that he wants to collect money for Ukraine.
Mhm.
So I said you can't do it on the public property. So he said no. I've spoken to Alert, and they're allowing me to do it in front of Alert. So I said, look, that is a private property that does not belong to the village. And the guy said that I'm going to put out some items to sell, and it will benefit Ukrainians. So I said, look, as long as it's not in the public property, it's in their property, it's the responsibility of the firehouse to come to us. I don't know you. If you're doing it in a private property, it's their responsibility to come and ask for it. That's the last I heard from him.
I'm surprised they would have, because if you're going to have, he said there's going to be all the high school kids. If there was an emergency and the fire trucks have to come out and you've got all these people there.
I'm sure that he has
So-
discussed it with the fire chief there.
I just also, now that you mentioned this, I wanted to say that Rabbi Feldman from Temple Bet El reached out, and they would like to have in conjunction with Temple Israel and Great Neck Synagogue, they would like to have a gathering in, I think, Village Green, and they will hand out flags for people to go around, and I'm
That's
sure
a
that.
more appropriate place. But
Sorry?
then there's a more appropriate place. but
Right,
then
so I'm
they'd have
just
to talk
letting
to the
everybody
park
know
district.
that if they'd like to join, it's going to be Sunday morning at 11 o'clock.
This coming Sunday?
This Sunday at 11, 4/10, April 10th at 11 o'clock. They will be there, and this is a walk for peace. Again, this is not going to be any kind of a political rally for or against anyone. This is just for those people who have unfortunately gotten displaced because of this war. Again, this is just us saying that we stand with those people, and we're for peace. Again, we're not going to. It's not going to be any kind of a protest. It's just a rally. So I encourage everybody to show up Sunday morning at 11 o'clock, Village
11
Green.
o'clock at the Village Green?
Yes.
Lovely.
Okay?
Thanks.
Thank you. If there's no other comments, I move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Abraham, good job. Excellent.
Good job, Abraham.